Listen, son, knock you in your head with my stick, with my stick. You gon' have a mark from my stick, from my stick, my stick, my stick. My stick is better than bacon. You can't touch my stick. I don't wanna. Yeah, you want my stick. Dump your coconut with my stick. Look at my stick. You gon' feel the wrath of my stick. Fear my stick. My stick, my stick, my stick is better than bacon. You can't touch my stick. It's just a stick. It's my perfect stick. My stick is my friend, born from a log. Everyone can see it's better than bacon. Why'd you get so crotchety and mean? Look at my stick. Why'd you drink that creature's milk is green? It's sick. My stick, my stick, my stick is better than bacon. You can't use my stick, but it's just a stick. Don't you like my stick? No, it's just a stick. It's my perfect stick. My stick and me take walks every day. Past the hooligans down by the ocean. When they laugh at my stick, then they learn how my stick is much denser than bacon. Bought a little piggy and I let the little piggy run amok. But when I was asleep, little piggy kept waking me up. People often fight about which birds are the best birds, but everybody can agree that seagulls are the worst. I kiss my stick, you can't pick up my stick, keep your mitts off my stick. I disappear for years and reappear right here to cheer about my cool stick. When I was a little bitty kid, I had not yet found my mighty stick. Then I did, I could break your stick using just my brain. My stick? I could make you wish you couldn't feel pain. Not my stick, my stick, my stick, my stick is better than bacon. You can't touch my stick. I don't want your stick. Yeah, you want my stick. It's just a stick. It's my big boy stick. Bought a bag of Venom and I wish I really, really, really didn't. Nobody has a good reason to own a bag of Venom. Hope for my bird sometimes 'cause I like how it hurts. Everybody can agree that seagulls are the worst. I kiss my stick, it's my stick. You can't pick up my stick. Keep your mitts off my stick. Everyone can see it's better than bacon. It's my stick.
Do not wear that outfit again. But if you wanna keep your spleen, because I want to fit in. Sorry, you're just not terribly important to me. Did you know that Whitney Houston's debut LP has 4 #1 singles on it? Did you know that Christy, there are no girls with good personalities? I don't think we should see each other anymore. It never was supposed to be. Gotta return some videotapes. Have to return some videotapes. Did you know I'm utterly insane? I like to dissect girls that ate some of their brains. Gotta return some videotapes. I'm really late. Gotta return some videotapes. I guess I'm probably returning videotapes. Gotta return some videotapes. I guess I'm probably returning videotapes.
Here to punish the cowards and prey on the innocent. Whenever someone needs... Hey, buddy! You might want to take a number, pal. Yeah. When are you gonna be done with that ledge? It's my turn. You got it lying! welcome, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome back to another Appreciating Comic Book Art Live. It's Tuesday. Kayla, how you feeling?
Ready to drink.
Oh, well, there you go. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. It is Tuesday. It is a drinking night, I guess, for me. It's always exciting. It's always exciting. I don't know if I should run the intros longer or not. I know that there have been people saying that they aren't even getting the notifications that the show is going live for like 20 minutes. It's crazy. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube.
Now there's something going on with notifications that you literally have to hit the notification bell for everything, even if you already have it on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Notify everything. That's something I noticed the past week. So that could be it. So
yeah. It's weird. It is absolutely weird. But thank you to everybody that's come in early. Let us know in the chat if you are getting the notifications on time or if they're coming in late. It all depends on how long I should run those intros because I want to really run it before, as long as I can get people in here before we actually start getting into the meat of the show. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say hi first to David Carmichael. He says, very cool. Yes, this is going to be fun. I've been looking forward to this ever since this was announced earlier this year that this was coming out. Because I'll tell you what, I missed both of the Spawn compendiums or the Spawn, what were they called? They had a specific name.
the gallery editions, artist
Was
edition.
it a gallery edition? Okay, yeah, the Spawn and gallery editions, I missed both of them. So I was like, I'm not missing this, getting some good original black and white Mcfarlane art. So I got it. The day it came out. So here we're going to look at it. It's going to be awesome. We got Hail the Lore says, Hail to you, brother. Good to see you. We got Mark in the house. He said, this book looks amazing. It just breaks my heart that the original art for the cover must have been inked with a Sharpie on Venom's hands, so they are fading weird as F. Yeah, you're going to actually see that quite a bit in this book. There's a lot of Sharpie inking going on. So there's a lot of brown spots where it should be black. But, it kind of feeds into the, nostalgia bit of it. That's what they did back in the day before they knew it would fade that bad.
I like to look at like all the hand-drawn stuff that's scanned in like that. But we also know too, like Todd McFarlane, his run on Spider-Man, he took each and every character and essentially made them his own.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone, like every classic villain there, from like Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Sandman, Vulture,
Hydro Man when he was in there,
Lizard.
Scorpion.
I mean, he co-created Venom, so
yeah,
we're gonna see things like he did it his own way stylistically. So
now, what's the only disappointing thing about these artist editions that Marvel / IDW put out? It's the same thing with the Jim Lee X-Men one, that the pages is not everything that he's done. So it's kind of broken up. And I think they do that because they want to do a second one at some point and just get more money out of everything. So it just kind of bounces around. There's some things I wish were in the book that aren't in the book from some of his run. So that was a little disappointing. But overall, this book is awesome. I can't wait to show you guys. We got Dr. Fatty Pants in the house as well. As awesome. Wiley J draws. This is the jam. Hell yeah. We got Astro Zombie, a member of the channel. Hail to you, brother. Good to see you. Let's see. We got Tarks9, another member of the channel. Hail Comicsgate. Hail back at you. Let's see. Parker Luck. What's that? Matt Bird. I like that. Sixth, you. I like that. Hail to you. We got Pastmaster Dan in the house. I just got one. Oh, you just got this? A lot of people have been picking this up. I've been seeing people posting it, and just this is a very popular thing, as I knew it would be. I mean, who is not a fan of Todd McFarlane? That's all I gotta say.
I don't know.
Who is not a fan? Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say I'm not a fan of Todd McFarlane. He's just one of those guys that universally everybody loves. Got Charles Rivas in the house. He says, hail to all, hail to you. Let's see what we got going on here. I love your Spider-Man #1 opening spread page. Yeah. And I'll tell you this right off the bat. This is kind of a little bit of spoilers. The reason why I put this up here is because this is not in the book. This one wasn't in the book. That was one of the things I was disappointed with, because this is one of my all-time favorite pages that Todd ever drew.
Wasn't in the book?
Yeah, this one isn't in this book, which is why I was saying they're probably going to do a second one just so they can, charge more money for more art. Yeah, and I'll get it. I'll spend another $100 and whatever, it was to get this. We got Bordeaux in the house. Hail.
Hey,
We have one Wicked Evo as well. It says, hail, Joe. Kayla in the chat. Hail to you. Hail to you. See, I think I caught everybody. Yep, we're good. We're good. All right. We're going to get rolling here. Just share out the stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you guys could do, I'll do that as well. Share the stream out. Let everyone know we're live just in case the notifications aren't going out to everybody. Because it seems really weird that I get a lot of people hitting me up all the time saying like, oh, wasn't even notified that you were live. I don't know what YouTube's up to, though. It is what it is. That is for damn sure. All right. Kayla, what do you think about this? You want to jump into this? We got 30 people in the chat.
I'm ready to jump in. I am ready.
We got Ja Rowe in the house. By the way,
ready.
Congratulations to Ja Rowe for winning the Gem Shock. Wait, no, you came in second. Sorry, you didn't win. My bad.
I didn't
coming
see
in second.
one. I didn't see who was picked or anything.
Was it Adam? Ah, man, now I feel bad. Adam Lawson? Did he win? Ja Rowe got second,
right.
though, with that.
Oh,
I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. That's bad of me for the host not knowing all that information. But I do know Ja Rowe entered that beautiful piece. If you haven't seen it, it's got Pit, Gem Shock, it's got Reaper Destroyer right there in front of, which is why I love it. You know, it's also got Sean's character Streets from Type 1 that got like second place, I believe. But it's just a fantastic piece. If I was thinking it ahead of time, I'd have it so I could pop it up. But congratulations, brother. You deserve it. That is an awesome piece. And he's also done some cool work for me that I haven't shown off yet that I will show off for the campaign at some point. We have Paul in the house as well. Good to see you, Paul. Thank you for being here. And we have Larad. Hail the chat, Joe, Kayla. Kayla looking great as always. Yes.
it's because I have light now.
That is what it is. Adam Miller. Thank you. And it was Adam's. Yeah, Adam Miller. Thank you. That's what it is. So congratulations to all you guys. That was a hell of a contest. You're welcome, man. You deserve it. You guys are all fantastic, very talented. Love that the art of these characters are getting out there and people are just drawing them all over the place. I even saw a post before we start the show. I'll just say I even saw a post on Facebook the other day that somebody put on there that had, it was like, thank you to the indie comics. It was mostly all just like comic skate characters. And it was just great art. It was cool. That Gem Shock there. It had I don't know, a ton of characters. We have the coach himself is in the house. Hail to you, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. I don't know if Kangs was on last night or not. I tried staying up for it, but Ethan was still going like well past midnight, and then I had to pass out. That was
yeah,
just what it was.
I think it was on because I caught some of the stream and then caught some of Phil's stream and then caught the House of the Dragon stream.
Yes, I caught that over on Lord Crackhead's channel. By the way, everybody go sub to that. If you are a big fan of House of the Dragons, anything Game of Thrones, go over there to Jeremy's channel. He is one of the best with behind the scenes information and just information alone on that show. So I highly recommend that. Everyone's saying hi to Malin for sure. He is one of the more popular people around here. Absolutely. Oh shit! Let me pause this for a second. We have Jay Ryan in the house. Says sweet zombie Jesus, Kayla. Got Snake Dog says, hail the chat, hail Joe, hail Kayla. Can't wait to see what you think of this amazing book. Yes! I'm so excited that so many of you guys have gotten this book and have already looked at this because it's a fantastic book. I love these kind of books. Whether it's the Jim Lee X-Men book, the Michael Turner Vault edition that they put out, this is just amazing. Like, this just gives you a sense of the scale of the art. And this book is a huge book. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a story. Recording this book for the stream, I had this on my kitchen table. I was standing on two of my chairs just so I could get up high enough with my iPad to be able to film this thing because this book is fucking huge. You can see it behind me right there. I mean, that's the scale of the book compared to some of the other books I have. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. We got Jonas Olsen in the house. Hail. Howdy, y'all. I like that. B Rose, the man, another member of the channel. Haven't seen you in a second. Good to see you, brother. Hope everything's going good. Everybody go back Cerebrum. I think they crossed that 12K mark, so congratulations to you, brother. Everybody go back my cover. Just do it. Just do it. Spend lots of money on my cover. Do we need to get a mop and a bucket, Sante? Yes, you do. You absolutely do. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. I'm going to start this thing. And we're going to get rolling on this.
I think for me, the best thing about these artist editions is, you can see the blue pencils, you can see like all the ink gradients, you can see the corrections, everything is completely visible within them. And I really
Yeah.
love that.
Let
So
me get rid of my little
seeing
guy
all the
there.
processes that occur.
Yeah, that's the awesome thing about this. Hail to Peter Orchard Studios. Hail everyone, hail to you.
Hey,
Uh yeah, these artist editions are great because you get to see. I mean, what's cool about this is you get to see who drew it, who inked it, because there are some guest inkers that Todd has on here, like Scott Williams and Rob Liefeld does a couple pages in here as well. You get to see their signatures on the pages. You get to see notes that were written. Some of them are hard to make out. They're just been faded over the years or whatever. But yeah, this is a true behind the scenes look at these master works, like this. So yeah, we're gonna jump into this. If you need me to stop, I can pause it. I tried it. It was a big book, so I don't want to hang on too long of every single page. I would like try to focus in on some of the really cool stuff, mostly the Spider-Man stances, because I think that we all agree that Todd probably drew the best Spider-Man positioning of any artist.
definitely more dynamic than anybody, I would say. Like I said, he took all of these characters and definitely made them his own with how he posed them, how he drew them, everything. So
Yeah. Let me see. Let me fiddle around. You guys like that better? Let me know in the chat. You like that better, or you like this format better? 'Cause I know we cover up some of the art, but we'll go with this for a second. So this is, again, it's broke up. It's not every single page of his run, but it does go in order of issues, I do believe. But like, so you got like 2 separate pages there. Well, actually, this might be out of order. So that's from 300. I can't see what that was from.
Spider-Man 300, that book is still worth a fortune.
Oh,
I
hell yeah, it
actually-
is.
That's like right over in there. I could pull that shit out.
I've got one in there too. Haven't touched it in years.
We get like 4
That's what she
copies of
said.
it, even a newsstand edition of it.
Todd, Ja Rose said Todd doesn't really get enough credit for his cartooning, in my opinion. Yeah, I feel you on that. What I like to call impossible anatomy. That is absolutely, but it makes it so cool. And he drew him like a spider, and that was what was cool about Todd coming on to Spider-Man. He's like, I'm going to put him in positions and to make him look like a spider, and he absolutely did, and it added so much to the character. I think that is when the character really took off in popularity and in look. Parker says, I haven't got mine, or Matt says, I haven't got mine yet of this very book, but I do have the Spawn one you mentioned earlier. Oh, I'm so jealous, man. I wanted to get those when they're out. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It does go in order. It just doesn't have every single page. That's what I thought. I just wanted to pause that there, as that was one of my favorite shots of Spider-Man. I love the black Spider-Man costume. I just always have. When I was a kid, I thought it was the coolest costume. The traditional costume is cool, but the black Spider-Man costume, for some reason, just, it's cool, man. Black and white
where
is
it
just
first
awesome.
appeared, Joe?
Huh?
Do you know where it first appeared?
Yeah. Why don't you tell me?
No, you don't. You don't. Fantastic Four. It was after the Bagman stuff.
Oh, was the fantastic? I thought it appeared in the Secret Wars, or the.
It was the Fantastic Four issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you go. That's why I have Kayla on the show, so she can school me on this stuff. Love the Todd McFarlane.
8, but it was
Dude, that's what I thought.
Fantastic Four stuff within it. So
Okay.
Bagman stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of pages to cover, so I go through this as best I can. I think some of the coolest stuff is when you get into the actual Spider-Man issues. Like, I love Todd's run on Amazing. Does some great stuff, but when he actually gets into Spider-Man, you can see that he's got free reign to do what he wants, and the paneling is so much different, so much more advanced than what he's doing here. This is, he's going off of somebody's script right now with the Amazing Spider-Man. You're having to put a lot of panels on a lot of pages, but he does still a fantastic job. The way he draws the Thing, that is the most stylized thing I think I've ever seen. Like, I don't think I've seen anybody else draw the Thing like that except for Todd. Mike Wilson, welcome. He says, love the Todd McFarlane stuff. Even though his anatomy was wonky, his work was just fantastic. Yeah. And I think that's, to me, as a comic book reader, I don't care about quote unquote bad anatomy if it looks cool. Yeah, if it looks cool, if it looks good, if it that's all I really care about as a comic book reader. Just give me something that looks cool. I don't care if it's the perfect anatomy or not. Sibling Vaughn Hale said this is definitively a TV worthy episode to watch. Yes, I like that. I like that. Can't play her gun.
Give me 1 second. I'm taking cats out.
Kayla is getting overrun by her cats.
Yes, they gotta go.
One thing I loved about Todd, and you see this a lot in this book specifically. Also, if you get any of the behind the scenes books, they did the early Spawn runs. He was big on doing these city scenes where you have a silhouette of a building in the foreground, and in the background, you just basically have the outline of buildings. But it works so good. It's a cheat. It's a quick cheat to get through. You don't have to pour a ton of detail into a panel, but you know my love for silhouettes. It just makes it pop. It makes it looks good. It adds something to the page, in my opinion. We got Sean here,
Chanelly.
We'll go with that.
F here. Wait, Sean. I can't see it good against the white background.
Yeah, well, hail.
Sean
Hello, darlings.
F here.
Hail to you.
Neely.
Welcome. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. That's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's put you back here. Calm down, John. Calm down. That's all I gotta say. Thank you. I'm back. So a lot of this stuff is just some of these issues were issues I wasn't actually a huge fan of. And that sounds funny because I'm a huge fan of Todd McFarlane, a huge fan of the Amazing Spider-Man, more so of the actual Spider-Man stuff. But I found that a lot of the stuff they put in this book was great. But a lot of these issues I thought there were better pages they could have included in this one. That makes me really think that they're making a second one just so they can get more money out of us, which, whatever. It is what it is. I hear they're making a second X-Men as well. Same thing, where they have random pages. They don't have every single page. I wish, and I would pay the money for it, if they put out a book that had every single page that Todd McFarlane ever did. Whether it's 2 books, 3 books, I don't care. Something this size is absolutely amazing.
There's this signature eye panel down the bottom on that last page. He always does that up close eye shot. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Let me back up just a second. There we go.
I don't even think you got it.
I missed it again.
It's all right. I'm sure there will be another one.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Down at the very bottom. So that's something that he always does.
I noticed in these panels quite a bit that here's a good example. Let me pause it. He packs in a lot of detail into small panels. Like I was just talking about the silhouette buildings and everything where he doesn't do a lot of detail. You have certain things like this panel. Well, you can't see him using the cursor. The top panel there where that's quite a bit of detail. Good perspective there. I like that. And the second panel too, just this fight scene, just throwing Spider-Man in these weird positions as he's avoiding all these shots. Let me get down to this. You got
I love that.
There we go. More of an iconic Todd kind of Spider-Man positioning there. Yeah. Once you started putting Spider-Man like that, I mean, he became like so much cooler. Seeing this character in these kind of poses. And I think Todd was the best at it. Hands down. Hands down.
People always look for his issues of Spider-Man and his issues of Venom that he worked on.
Oh, yeah. Mike says, totally remember this when it came out. Todd was revolutionary. Yeah. He's one of those artists that just came and took over a character, took over a series, and just instantly made it awesome. Made it universally loved. Like, people loved the way he drew Spider-Man. Obviously, it's talked to death. We all know he made the eyes bigger. He added more webs to the costume. He, pretty much is credited for inventing the spaghetti webbing that they call, and just made this character like one of the cooler characters in all of comics at the time. And you can't take that away from him. He absolutely revolutionized what he did with this character.
I mean, everything.
Yeah,
that
Felix the Cat. Yep.
Man, it was groundbreaking. This was all groundbreaking stuff. It was an extremely intensified version of this character. He basically he took Spider-Man essentially to new heights completely. I mean, he just gave Spider-Man such a sense of energy that I don't think anyone else did before him previously.
Yeah, honestly, if you look at some of the artists that drew Spider-Man before this, he was very stiff. He would do swinging positions, and they would have him on walking up the walls and stuff like that. But he wasn't, as you say, as dynamically positioned. Look at the top panel of the left page. Just being able to put him in these crouching, spider-like hanging positions, I don't think was really done that much until Todd came on board and did it.
Art Adams, too.
That's a great. Okay, so
I
I heard from.
I don't want to start talking about Art Adams. So.
I know you love for Art Adams. No, that's fine. I know you love for Art Adams, but that reminds me. I was listening to one of Liefeld's podcasts, Observations, and he was talking about a lot of stuff that Todd actually took, in his opinion, from Art Adams' version of Spider-Man when he took over Spider-Man. One of that being the webbing. That that was one of the big. Art Adams was a huge influence on all the Image guys, including Todd McFarlane and everything that they did. So that could be very well true. And I don't know. I like Art Adams, but I don't have a lot of his early work. I'll say that. So Kayla is the expert when it comes to Art Adams.
Pull it up. I just don't know where anything is right now to moving everything around, because I would pull that bad boy up.
Oh, Mike says Kayla totally looks like Todd's MJ too. Well, that's awesome. Todd drew. Not yet. Todd drew. And you can correct me if I'm wrong with this too, because I only go back so far with I follow artists, not necessarily characters. So, but I want to say that Todd might have been the first artist to really draw Mary Jane in a very sexy way. The lingerie that she was kind of always in, and I could be wrong on that, so you could correct me, but
I would have to.
That's where I remember
about that.
Todd's very good at these downward shots, and of course you got to be if you're drawing Spider-Man, because he's going to be in a lot of these positions anyway.
I think, is it Joe St. Pierre that's done more Spider-Man covers than anybody? And I think I'm trying to think if the one of Mary Jane I'm thinking of Joe St. Pierre did. Joe St. Pierre, I think, has done more Spider-Man covers than anybody. Someone can look that up, because I'm pretty sure.
I would say that I don't know, but I would take your word for it. Absolutely. One Wicked Evo says, so much detail and movement, I would make those sounds out loud like an idiot. This was actually, let me pause that. I actually thought that was a really good face. Todd's great at drawing masks, characters, monsters, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes his faces are here or there, but I thought that was actually a really good face they drew right there on the bottom left.
Yep, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was impressed with that.
I love the sound effects.
Me too. I wish they were in comics more. I don't know. I'm old school that way, I guess. Can you do without them? Sure, but I like them.
I love them. That is so freaking gnarly. That is sick.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that page layout there, that dynamic. I love that just everything is paneled out, bordered out by the webbing. I think I get in a little closer here.
See, I'm trying to think if on the other side that was the pose that was used for the cover of 300. Kind of
maybe, yeah. Let's get to it here in a second. But I just love that. I love the care and detail he goes into with the paneling to make it webbing instead of just a normal kind of panel. That just adds more dynamic to the page. One thing I loved about the 90s artists, Actually, this might have been late 80s. This could have still been early 90s. I'm not sure. But just the creative idea behind making an entire page a work of art and interesting was one thing that set Todd and a lot of those early Image guys apart. Oh, it's a cool graveyard scene. Kind of has a Wrightson like feel a little bit, you know, with the smoke a little bit. Not too much, but I could definitely see a little bit of that. Yeah, Todd's cartoony style worked pretty good for. Is that the pose you're talking about, Kayla?
Yeah. It looks it kind of. I mean,
A little bit.
I need to, you know what? That freaking issue is around. This is going to drive me crazy. Hold on.
Yes, everybody, smash that like, share the link, hit the bell for notifications. Let everybody know we're live. We appreciate it. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Thank you for bringing One Wicked Evo. Prowler looking very Spawnish, and a lot of people were thinking that he got a little bit of his Spawn design, especially with the mask and the cape, from his run with the Spidey issue with the Prowler. Stephen Vaughn said, remember Todd's anatomy from Spider-Man was made up. Everyone before that were grounded with more functional anatomy. Yeah, that's the thing that really stood out to me. Yeah, Bordeaux still. That he stood out so much because he put Spider-Man in such funky positions, but it made it look so super cool. Like this was when I wanted to be Spider-Man when I was a kid. Like I was a big X-Men fan, but like this, I was like, yeah, I want to be Spider-Man. Like Keely Chow in the house. Hail. Good to see you. We got Super Jerry. Hey. Good to see you guys. We got Atomic Art. Hail, brother. Good to see you. Oh, there we go. Hold on a second. Let me make you big.
It is.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm pretty sure that is that same, almost same pose.
All right, I'm going to back up here in a second, and we will find out. We got Jeremy Burt's in the house as well. Hail to you guys. Thank you for being here. Let me back up. It's similar, but I don't think it's the same. Wait, where was it? Oh, there it is. There we go. Close.
It's mirrored. It looks
it's a
mirrored.
similar pose.
It looks mirrored.
It's a similar pose, but yeah.
Very similar. Oh, wait, no, you're right. You're right, because the arm.
Of course I'm
okay.
right. Of course I'm right. Come on. Was it ever in doubt? Was it ever in doubt?
No, I didn't pay attention. It was just I saw the circle and
we got Kazoo in the house as well. Hail to you.
You guys don't even know the books that I have. I will make you cry.
Oh, I'm already crying.
I can pull out.
All right. Let me see. Pause this here. Love the building designs. Like, you know, it's got the New York feel, but it's also, I feel like he added, you know, a ton of his own kind of architecture in with building designs. Especially if you look at the building design, just all the different detail behind where Spidey is with all these gargoyles. Like, it takes a lot of care in just, I don't know. You're having fun when you're drawing stuff like that, I would say. Black Rose Comics says, sub to Death Curse for more Kayla. Just 3 subs away from 600. Yes, everybody, please go do that. Follow that link. Sub today. Appreciate you. But this was an awesome shot here. And this was the thing, you know, you're taking Spidey, who's predominantly a day character, and you're finding a way to really kind of increase the shadows, especially with the costumes and everything, adding more black to the costume, making it much darker. The blue was kind of disappearing. It was becoming more and more of a black costume. And then just throwing him in cool poses like this with, you know, these badass gargoyles.
That almost kind of reminds me of Kelly Jones a little bit. Like
a little bit, yeah.
Reminds me of Mcfarlane a little bit. Just because like the thick black line work in it and just like the pose and gargoyle stuff.
This is when you get to the actual
Astro Zombie, why are you trying to start fighting here?
I was gonna get to that, yeah. Trust me, I was gonna get to that and let everybody know, it's my show. You don't question me. Jeez. God.
When I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Blue Rad says, love how comics have become valuables. Yeah. Hey, we got Eric Huffles in the house. He says, hello to you. Haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're doing well. There was, after we're done looking at this book, I actually pulled up some other original pages I wanted to look at that I didn't see in this book that I wanted to highlight here. Oh, here we go. I was very impressed. I think I might do a close up here. If not, I'll have to back up. I might have to back up. No, here we go. I was very impressed with this panel.
Wow.
Yeah, like when you actually break it down, this is one of the panels I probably would have got lost reading the book originally, especially with all the color and everything. But the black and white really shows you all the detail he did with this crazy down shot. I love the perspective. Looks great. This looks like what's the park in New York called? Does anyone know?
Central Park.
Central Park. Thank you. This looks like a Central Park shot, right? You know, you got the streets there. You got all those cars there. Like, look at the amount of detail he put into this panel. Like, I was actually really impressed. And I don't think I would have seen this without this blown up, artist edition that they have. Like, this is, am I the only one impressed here?
I'm impressed.
telling you.
I like the downward perspective. It gives you the feeling that you're like falling into the
Yeah.
beach. It's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
It's trippy.
Yeah, the shot, fantastic shot. Like, it's just, that's great. Makes me jealous as an artist. I'm teary-eyed. Yes, me too.
Oh wait, I
Me
want to
too.
read the comments. I keep forgetting I can do this. Comments. Now I can see
Oh, yeah.
the comics on the side.
Can you highlight the comments now? Try highlighting one. See if it pops up.
No.
Oh, not yet. All right. We'll figure that out. Kayla, I'm trying to make Kayla more a part of the show so she can run things kind of like Sean was doing, I tried to give Sean the power as well. He didn't really like it. He didn't want it.
I'm trying to get Joe to do a draw stream
Mm.
so I can click on the comments while he draws.
That would be great. Take the work off my hands. I like it.
Exactly.
Bordeaux says you can see where he worked in a photocopy of the cityscapes in several pages. You can. You absolutely can. And that's, you can definitely see that more with the black and white. And I guess it was a good cheat, like maybe it wasn't that big of it. I feel like you would get yelled at nowadays if you were doing that. But back in the day, especially if you're drawing a book in New York, you can take some actual cityscapes in New York and put it in there, just light box it in there or just photocopy it on there. It makes it look interesting too. There's one specific one that popped out that I'll pull up here when we get to it. But great observation there.
Just the energy. Every page I feel has so much energy. Look at her body proportions too. Her body proportions are amazing.
Oops.
And the hair. Oh my God,
The
the hair. I love
Yes.
hair.
Look at that. Okay, that's
feet,
why.
though, the feet a little bit though.
Feet are a little small. You're a little small. It's all right.
All right, it's all good. They don't need to be. I didn't even notice until it zoomed like that. I would have not even noticed. I love the silhouettes in the background there. I love that little silhouette piece here.
That's why I paused on this because I was actually pretty impressed with this shot as well. Like I liked it. He didn't feel like he needed to go and draw every single person there. He did white silhouettes and really make the black silhouettes pop out of Peter and Mary Jane. And then just the people here in the foreground I thought were just very well, not a lot of detail, but just, I don't know, so well done. I like that. John Malin says border designs. Yeah, absolutely. Malin, I mean, if you're not doing anything, man, you are more than welcome to jump on. I know you're a big fan of Todd McFarlane. Let me know. I'll send you a link. So yeah, there's a lot of things in this that I'm so impressed with. I've always liked Todd McFarlane. He was one of my first favorite artists, him and Jim Lee. And seeing his stuff up close like this, seeing a lot more of the detail that might have been missed is great. Especially when you get to this part. Oh, here we go. Pause. Okay. This could have also been, drawn off a photocopy of the actual building. I don't know, but regardless, it's a beautifully done page.
No, it's gorgeous. That's absolutely gorgeous.
I like the perspective too of coming, you've seen Spider-Man's hands out in front there.
Perspective. And look, that's how he would visualize it through his eyes. I believe that's what he was going for.
Yeah,
there in the forefront like that. So.
And of course, I can never see this library without thinking about the Ghostbusters. If you guys know what I'm talking about, opening scene of Ghostbusters. Come on now, people. I know I'm not the only one. The Rat says MJ looking thick till the feet. Yeah. I love Funny Pictures Comics. Hail. He says, or they say, love Todd's work. I got to get this one and just order the Art of Dave Stevens Rocketeer Artist Edition. Nice. I bet that is badass. That'd be pretty badass. Here you're simping after he canceled. See, I didn't think the Kangs happened. I knew it. I felt bad for falling asleep. I figured John would yell at me, but no. We're all good. We are all good. Matt Bird said, Todd said that the comic. Let me pause this. Todd said that the comic books greats video that when he lived as far away from New York. Wait. Todd said in the comic books great video that when he lived as far away from New York when he was doing his Amazing Spider-Man work, he lived in Vancouver, Canada, so his stuff was his own. Gotcha. I mean, he definitely used some kind of photocopies for the buildings. Leandro, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
Great show last night.
Yeah, Ghostbuster vibes. Yeah, absolute great show last night. Over on Jeremy's channel there, talking House of the Dragon. What an awesome show. This page we get here. Yeah, I'm going to pause this here. I do go zoom in here a little bit, but the page on the right, I absolutely love because it's just the mood setter. The straight black backgrounds, how just Peter's eyes are just covered in shadow here. Like just very great storytelling here with the mood of this page.
And a lot of times I don't think the all black background works either, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you got to use it correctly, right? Like, and I think that was used for what it was. Yeah, perfectly for what it needed to be.
Sets the emotional tone.
This is another thing I loved about Todd, and we're going to see this especially when you get into the Spider-Man issues, but it's just one of my favorites when it came to drawing like debris and rubble and destruction. You know, it's the same thing when we got to Spawn. It was just, I love all the crazy detail in there. I still probably draw some of my rubble and debris like Todd did, because that was just how influenced I was from his work back in the day. Yeah, there we go. So it's just well done. Love it. You get the emotion set in the black background. Obviously, the drawing is very well done with Peter's with his head in his hands. Hold on a second.
In his hands, yeah.
Some of the best stuff Todd does, drawing monsters.
Oh yes.
It's interesting. I don't know if I go down a little farther. There we go. That's some crazy panel work. Look at that. So you've got 4 panels here within this kind of squared out panel. Just, man, that is some tight stuff right there. But I like the idea of being able to focus on certain things, kind of throwing your eye with the webbing. Especially if you follow the word bubbles, it kind of throws your eye right to the next word bubble in the next panel as you're going down. Even within tight spaces, I think he was really revolutionizing panel design, as John Malin said earlier.
Yeah. He definitely did. I don't think there is anybody that has taken a series that has existed, with the exception of Kelly Jones with his Batman stuff, and has truly made all of the characters within it that were established characters their own artistically, like he did with the Spider-Man run.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let me pause this for a second. Eric says the webbing panel is like a second unit shot in a movie. That's a good idea, or good observation there. This I don't know. I can't remember the stories here, what is actually going on in these pages. But that, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I was going to say, focus in there, Joe. There we go. That pose is the closest to that 300 pose, I think, than anything. And that was kind of the more popular, just legs thrown up above the head, just soaring like a spider jumping. I mean, like that. I don't think anybody has ever captured Spider-Man that pose. You know, famous, iconic pose right there. Great perspective too of the buildings, just all around atmosphere in this entire panel. Beautifully done. There's a page with Ghost Rider where the poses and broken panels lead the eyes to the word balloon, pure brilliance. Yeah, when we get to that stuff is some of my favorite work. Like I'm glad they kept some of the big Ghost Rider scenes in the book.
I wonder, is any of that Spider-Man issue 16 in here with the sword that goes through Juggernaut's eye?
No, it stops. I mean, it skips the X, or it stops before that. It stops
Do you know what
with
I'm talking
the Morbius
about?
story. Yeah, I was hoping it was going to
Really
be in
freaking
here.
Cool.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be in here and they'd have the actual original art before it was fixed. But it wasn't. So that was a little disappointing. It's got a lot of the Amazing Spider-Man. It's got less of the actual Spider-Man title, but still some really fantastic pages when you get to Spider. And that's when you're going to see, when we get there, that's when you're going to see a lot of, I think, the precursor to Spawn. Because the Spider-Man titles were so dark. They almost were always take at night instead of day. So there was such a difference between his regular Amazing Spider-Man run and some of the costume designs and character designs when you get to Morbius, Hobgoblin, just remind me of something straight out of Spawn. Oh, look at this old lady's face here.
I think honestly
No,
too, I remember him, like some interview of him basically saying like the reason why he stopped working on Spider-Man stuff was because he had such an itch to write and he felt that he progressed artistically. So I think
Mail
that's
won't
why
ask
he
for the link.
had-
Get in there, John. Yeah.
I think that's, you know, he wanted to leverage, you know, his drawing
we go.
skills and have a reason to write.
Snake Dog said those Spider-Man self-title pages are effing huge. Yeah. Here a second. I'm just gonna send John the link if he wants to come in. No obligation at all. If you're working on Godlike or just chilling, but you have the option if you want. This now we're getting to some cool issues here.
That is fucking awesome.
Getting back with some Venom. Now there was the page where he kills this dude. They didn't have in the book, and I was kind of disappointed because it was a cool splash page, if I remember, when he kind of suffocates this guy. And I always thought it was a really cool page. I was disappointed they didn't have this in here. Although I think it was Bordeaux said that a lot of these are scanned from people's personal collections. So it might have just been what they could get. So if that's the case, then I guess it makes more sense why there's so many pages missing. It's not every single page. So I guess I get that if that's the case. There's a Hydra Man. I remember that was one of the first issues I actually spent money on. This was one of the back issues before I started actually collecting comics. And this Amazing Spider-Man issue, I can't remember how much I spent on it, but I spent a little bit of money to get this issue in my collection. And I've got a lot of his early Amazing Spider, not the entire stuff, but I've got a lot of the Amazing Spider-Man run that he did. Venom in that pose is so cool. Yeah. Love how Venom had an evolution. He did. Like the look of Venom definitely changed over time. And I would say it was probably revolutionized by Eric Larson more so than Todd, because Eric added the big tongue and the slobber, where Todd kind of kept Venom a little bit more hulking with sharp teeth. And I actually think I've heard that Todd thinks that the tongue actually looked goofy with Venom. I actually kind of liked it, but that was the Venom I grew up liking.
I heard someplace that
fun
with Venom, they just kept making him uglier and uglier and uglier. I forget who was the person that said that they just like were drawing him. I can't remember right now.
Oh, well, that's a good page too. Let me pause that. I don't know. You Franco? I'm gonna go with that. My biggest letdown, there's no pages from the issue 16, Todd's last issue with Juggernaut, otherwise great edition. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about a second ago. I was hoping that would be in here, but for some reason it's not. So that was a little bit of a letdown.
You know what? Some of this stuff actually kind of reminds me of like Steve Ditko a little bit as far as like the Spider-Man poses. Like now that I'm really looking at it like this, because Steve Ditko really made Spider-Man like a contortionist as well. Like
he did. Ditko was amazing. Like if you look at some of the old Spider-Man stuff, and Ditko's style kind of evolved the longer he was doing Spider-Man. But if you look at some of his old Spider-Man stuff, it's incredible work. Like I was actually looking at some of it the other day just online that I came across, and I forgot like how much I enjoyed Ditko's run that I've read or that I've looked at least on Spider-Man.
And then I think
the original artist, I mean, gotta give it to him.
Before it probably was John Romita that really transformed Spider-Man before.
Welcome, John Malin.
Like so.
Oh.
Hello, John Malin.
How are you doing?
I'm in my boxers, but they match my shirt black.
That's all that matters. Does anybody ever wear pants when you're on stream? That's all I gotta say. Venom looks retarded in those Tom Hardy movies.
Yeah, I can't watch them. I can't deal with the jokes and stuff.
I have not seen the second one.
I haven't either.
The first one I thought was okay. The design, I just liked that they at least kept the face of Venom looking like Venom, you know, with the tongue and everything. I grew up in the 90s with Mcfarlane, Larson, and Bagley, you know, drawing Venom. And especially with Bagley's run, it was always like that big ass tongue and the slobber. That was what I remember loving about Venom, and I'm glad they at least kept that for the movies. The movies themselves were all right. Nothing like they weren't world beaters or anything.
Well, I think for me, just more and more I have to let go because I'm like, these are no longer for me. You know, these are for 13-year-old kids who never read Spider-Man or never cared about these characters. So it's just, I feel like all the characters are starting to just become the same.
You'd be surprised who's actually buying things, because I've been working at the shop, and the target audience they're trying to target doesn't even want the books. So that's a problem.
Well, there's a surprise.
They don't even want the books. They're saying the books suck. So that's a problem.
Going back to what I was saying earlier about just Todd's imagination when it comes to rubble and junk and just debris, this is a perfect shot of just Spider-Man in this junkyard. It's just this mass of just shapes and stuff, but it just looks so damn cool.
Yeah, really appreciative stuff, because like part of me wants to pick his brain and be like, oh man, like what's really going through your head on your inking and your spot blacks, like all your logic. You know, like where are you processing all this from? He's got the chain in there. Yeah, it's got a nice drop shadow going over the chain. But that's a good black. And then you look at the negative space, which is in the remainder of the open aired panel. He draws that nice little kind of fencing under there. But then the shadowing under Spider-Man's legs, like some of this stuff has a lot of weight to it, like weight that I would normally associate with someone like Will Spertasio. And then what I was saying about panel design, this is a good example of that. I mean, we have overlapping panels. I appreciate this more than an example that I saw earlier, in that he left all that room. There's plenty of room for word balloon in panel 1 at the top there. Panel 2 and 3, I appreciate like that nice thick border. I hate when people use design, and there was an example of it here. It was that explosion and all the bullets were going into that explosion and breaking that panel border. And then they put the word balloon or a thought balloon over the bullet lines that were clearly out of the panel. You can make an argument for design. More than not, it's just a forced position. So I appreciate when people consider design and that they're still leaving room for that word balloon placement. Once in a while, it's cool. when you see that people are struggling to create the room for the word balloons over and over again, it's annoying. So
Yeah. It's actually something I've been trying to be more conscious of as I'm drawing Reaper Destroyer. And I've always tried to be conscious of word balloon, especially I'm the writer, so a lot of times I know what's going to happen on the page and what I'm going to do. So I know if it's very wordy or it's not, but it's something I'm trying to just be better at so that I don't have to worry about trying to figure out where to put a word bubble if I didn't leave enough space. Go ahead, Kayla.
No, just one thing that I've always noted, like what I noticed about how he does the webbing, like how the webs are always like twirling and they're twisted around so intricately. Basically, it's what it does with the negative space. You know, it fills the negative space within the pages to me, at least. So it's like a visual element that he's constantly moving. You get what I'm saying? Like,
it definitely created energy. That's why I love the way that he drew the webbing. It's just if you look at the webbing, it really has a mind of its own. It's a character. He made the webbing a character in the book. The fact of just how it moves, just logically, it looks like he'd be getting wrapped up in his own webbing, but just it looked cool. Gave the page energy and dynamics to me.
Yeah, then I think Casada tried doing that with like Daredevil's whatever lasso thing. It was like, eh.
Yep, he very much did that. Yep.
Yeah, no, Todd did a fantastic job when people were seeing this. At least when I was seeing it, I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on? It's like, that's fucking awesome. It made you want to draw. It's these nice little fluent, wispy lines going along. And you're just like, oh, and then he does all these little nearly nonsensical detailings in there. And it's something that just kind of attracts you. And yeah, you can look at the Art Adams and you can see where he kind of got that. Except Todd went
right.
A bazillion times with it. Whereas Art Adams was still, I believe, kind of like straightforward in that it would be the webbing and it would have the loop-de-loo going through it, but it wouldn't be, to my knowledge, it wouldn't be like this whole going around 30 times his body. So
he's like creating a pattern with the web in some way. Like there's a pattern going, as weird as that sounds. Like,
if Ethan did it, it would spell sex.
Absolutely would. Of course.
Todd's using it, really, he's just kind of creating depth where around depth. First you have the foreshortening of Spider-Man, but then you have the webbing going over the arm, under the arm, over the arm, over the head, then back over and around the leg, down the bottom, over the top. It's creating layers of depth within depth. So it's a win.
Justin Ward said, did Todd ever draw Carnage? I'm sure he must have. And I was going to answer that, but Snake Dog said, no, Bagley was the artist when that was all going on. Yeah, Bagley was the first artist I know to draw Carnage, even though I think it was co-created by Eric Larson, or he was co-created by Eric Larson, if I remember correctly.
you think
This was an example I was going to say that I'm pretty sure this is a photoshopped. Or not Photoshop.
I was just thinking that, like a stat photo, just a little. Todd, I believe, went to school for like graphic design, so doing something like this, even when you would have to do it in a more primitive way, because that would have been pre-Photoshop. Because Photoshop was, I think, just coming out maybe in the early 90s, and this might be right around 89, 90.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is right around the turn of the decade, 89 or 90 for sure. But it's like Larazza, it looks gnarly as hell, and it's true. Like when he would do this, it gave it a lifelike kind of feel,
it's just like if Tim Bradstreet did it. It's one thing if you can just do a little quick Photoshop thing on a photo and make it look comic book. It's another thing if you're going on there and putting some stank on it, you have to marry it to the artwork still. And I think Todd did a good job here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get into a little bit more of his normal cityscape, which is, again, simple, but in the storytelling aspect and the panel wise, there's a contrast there, but it still looks good. Burn did it too, I believe. Okay.
Like what he does with the eyes on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like Well, I know like over decades, like his eyes continually got bigger as a character. But with McFarlane, when he draws Spider-Man, they essentially are taking over like the whole mask. They're like extending it past the hairline, you know. They're
It's
going down to
still
where Peter's mouth would be. The eye size
Yeah.
like makes some really interesting visuals, I feel.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone ever did them as large as Todd did. So
I don't think that. Yeah, I think Todd was maybe the largest. I know Bagley did some pretty big eyes as well, but the shape of the eyes changed over time after McFarlane.
yeah, but that was post, right? When Bagley
Yeah.
was doing
Well,
like
yeah.
New
Up to-
Warriors or Spider-Man, that was post McFarlane.
Yeah. Up to this point, yeah, this was the biggest that the eyes had ever been. It definitely gave it made Spider-Man look cooler. I mean, you look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a cool character no matter what, but like the smaller eyes, when you compare it to the way that it looks more modern with the bigger eyes, I'm surprised somebody didn't come up with that idea sooner. Honestly,
It's very interesting visuals, because you can see kind of more like, for example, like let's say like the mask looks like more distressed, I would say. You can see where they actually like correspond to Peter's face in an aspect. I hope I'm making sense right now. It just looks more dynamic, all of it. So
right? And that's the important part of that is just dynamic aspects. I wanted to highlight this set of paneling here because I always thought this was pretty cool. That essentially you have one image here with Venom as we're looking at, but you're able to break that up into 4 different panels and show the movement of the symbiote feeling the tracker there and bringing it to Venom's attention. Like, I think that's cool storytelling right there, just showing the movement within the broken up panels.
Yeah. Yep.
I think
Nice design, and you can look at the panel overlap going on there as well. Again,
Yeah.
like the panel, I think it's panel. Well, at least from what we're looking at here, it's panel 1.
Yep.
And then panel, I guess 2, 3, 4 are all kind of overlapping that. And instead of panel 1 just having like a full bleed and these things being more or less inset panels, it's a lot of overlap. You'll see that in Rob's work too. But Rob was definitely inspired by what Todd was doing.
100%
panel design.
Yeah, I like the overlapping panels in books. Like, I do it a lot in my work as well. It's just it's just visually pleasing, I guess, to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it looks great on the eye. Looks great on the eye.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, you can look for that, and you can look for these big, thick borders. Like, those were real staples of the panel design that the successful guys were doing back then. I mean, it's framing. Literally, it's framing.
Yeah.
It looks like a big black frame over a poster. You want to hang it up.
I've always been a little bit more of a thinner borders, kind of like what Silvestri does, but I do enjoy a good, like you said, a thick border there. It really frames it out perfectly. I'm gonna geek out here just artistically wise for a second, but I love the speed lines in this panel. There's just 1,000 of them, but the time and care it took to sit down there with a ruler and just hammer out all those speed lines, but it adds so much to that panel. So I respect the hell out of that. And I love how it just breaks up. They're not even. They break up around the feet and just they're uneven. Just adds so much energy to this page. I just want to put that out there because that takes a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, they're
Draw those
really
lines.
they're really tight. And you would look at other people like Rob, maybe even Jim, like they would do speed lines, but they would do, 1/5 that many.
Right.
Todd is going in there, and these things are like, I don't know, less, a 16th apart. I don't know, man. They're tight as fuck. And
they are.
He's doing this, I think, with a crow. I don't know if he's doing the speed lines with a crow quill. Maybe he pulled out some kind of pen at that point. I don't know. I'm sure a talented inker can fiddle that, but I tried a crow quill for about 10 minutes and I was like, I will never get this thing.
I did the same thing. I was gung ho on learning how to ink with a crow quill, and I would watch so many inkers ink, and I try to look at techniques and just watch video about it. And I would sit down and I go to do it, and it would just look like absolute dog shit. Like, I could not make it work like these guys made it work. I would love to though, because I love the look of the crow, but
But yeah, I
the
mean,
quill.
in my mind, like if I would have been doing that, somewhere that ink would have bled out. You know what I mean? All my speed lines are gone, and they're going to be white, white out and smudging and all that other shit. And he's doing it. So,
hail to Henry Bemis, Zaid Comics, Maromi's in the house, Joshua 45 as well. Thank you for joining the show, guys.
I love that.
Yeah, just again, this is what made me love Spider-Man comics when Todd was drawing. Just these fun, cool positions that you could always put this character in, just hunched over on a ledge. I'm not lying, guys, when I said when I was a kid I wanted to be Spider-Man. Like, straight up. I'd read these comic books and I would think I was going to be Spider-Man one day. I'd try to do these poses. Trust me. It didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out well. It didn't work out well.
I was doing those poses all right. I mean, I can do that one. So
yeah, that one might be easier. Yeah.
Did he have any city work down below on that panel?
Let's see. Well, I know I focused in on this because that was just cool. I like that building there on the right, though. That's a really nice daily drawing there.
That's a tiny hand there, though. A hand.
Oh, the right hand.
Yeah, the one by his knee.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it looks like he cut it off there. So, yeah, so Todd managed to do this really great, all foreground shot. He didn't have to do anything in the background, just put that nice little cut-in panel border again.
Yep.
And then we get a nice vertical panel of, his city shots. And vertical panels are always not always smart, but anytime you're showing something that is tall, goes up and down, usually it's a real good option to pull out. So buildings, anytime you want to do that, it's a good cheat too, because you only have to ever draw parts of them. And Todd had the cheat better than anyone else because you would silhouette either a foreground or a background building, and maybe do some illustration of the mid or foreground. So,
yeah, I was going to bring that up. Like, it's almost a staple of Todd's work. There was always silhouette foreground, you had the midground, and another silhouette kind of feel with the background with a little bit more line work, but light wise. And it's just, to me, I like it. It shows the depth. There's something about the silhouette that just draws my eye to it every single time, and I love seeing just like that solid black. Whether it's, we talked about this mail-in a couple weeks ago on Post Kangs when we were looking at your cable work, and you would do a lot of the silhouette, kind of what I call the Silvestri kind of silhouette shots of people in the foreground. Mm-hmm. It just, to me, it adds dynamics. It makes things pop out. It makes things beautiful to me, if that makes sense to anybody out there. But that's just like what I see when I see stuff like that. It's very attractive to me. Mm-hmm. I'll put it like that.
I feel the same way, Joe. But you know that.
So. Yeah. The Anvil says, I watch the Jack Show, Kangs, and Post Kangs, yet John Malin's true form can only be seen here with Joe and Kayla. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That panel 1, 2 that you had up over there on the top left.
Back
that is awesome.
That's like an example, or like it. No, not that.
No.
Right there. There it is.
Okay. All right. I'm going to turn the page.
Right there.
There we go.
That one. So like that's like, okay. What am I supposed to read first? What am I supposed to look at second? Yeah. It's like, again, a little bit of planning. Todd's normally pretty good at this. But move that first one, presumably, it's the beginning of panel 1, and then take the second one and slide that into the top of panel 2. Would just be a guess, but it's like you could argue design. But it's just annoying. It annoys me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying for sure. Do you think that maybe he was trying to have this be happening at the same time in different areas? Like at the exact same time, so that's why they threw the wording where it is? And maybe I'm just looking too much into that.
I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, you could maybe make that argument. I guess depending what's going on in the script.
Yeah, I haven't read this story in forever, so I've no idea. It was just something that popped in my mind when you were saying that, because you're right, because Todd is usually pretty good at that.
Yeah, you could make that. I guess you could make that a stronger argument because there's no gap between the panels, whereas he does have a gap below.
True, like those two panels kind of run with each
Yeah.
other, and then they break off from the other two or the other
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Uh,
Either way, you're gonna if you're gonna get stupid with your dialogue, your narration boxes, whatever, be sure you minimize that shit.
yeah. Jason Hale, he says, I have this. The variant 300 cover is on its way too. Sweet. That's awesome, man. I didn't know they did one. Love this panel on top because this is just vintage Todd to me. Like, you filling up all that negative space. Instead of having background, let's just throw a bunch of friggin' debris. But it just, I love debris. Debris adds so much action to a page, and you can just throw so many different shapes. It's just fun to look at, fun to draw.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I always tell people, I say, if you can draw something that's very small and simple, and draw a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's just it. Is normally we just want to put in a few pieces of rubble and be like, oh, that's it. We established rubble. Let's move on to the next thing. And it's kind of like that difference on how many speed lines are you going to draw? Are you going to draw a bazillion like Todd, or are you going to just draw, 6 or 7 like Rob? And it's like, well,
Right.
if you want to be at Todd level, you're going to have to put in that extra time. So if you want to level up, if you want your art to be at a level higher than the next guy, you're gonna have to draw more bits of rubble than the next guy. And the only thing that matters on that is time. That's it.
Right.
Are you willing to put in an extra 10 minutes of drawing little small shapes and little small cracks? Or 10 minutes more than the next guy. Can you do 10 minutes more than the next guy? Do you want to be the best? Well, you better start putting in that extra time.
Here's a quick question for you, Malin, and I've never really heard anybody explain this, but you see the way that top panel is bordered out, that effect that they use.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an insight to why that was used back in it? Because I don't see it a lot nowadays, but it was very popular back in the day.
The logic to me on a border like that is always that it's chaos, that it's the energy, it's disruptive, like that's when you would ideally be using something like that. So you can treat a panel border like a language, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you were going to use that big thick panel border where it's just big, strong, like this is like a statement or something, like maybe someone's saying something that's the follow-up, the climax of something, or very stern and something like that's a stamp. But this is for chaos, and a lot of guys will just do a shit job at it, and it doesn't look good. It's not aesthetically good. This is a good example of a good one. I like it, but yeah, some people, I don't know, it just looks like fucking ass on paper. So
yeah, I agree. Like that's kind of what I always thought, like something with what you use in a chaotic situation. But yeah, you're right. Design wise, it's hard to do, and a lot of times Todd obviously did this here because he inked his own work. But I always attributed that to more of the inkers sometimes when they would go in, the artist would probably show what they were trying to do, and it would be something more like the inker was doing. But
I would almost guarantee the penciler is laying down a chaotic line because especially the further back you go, they're probably going to be the first one getting the lecture from the editors back then. Like, keep those borders
Right.
clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I doubt an inker would step out of place. And
Well, yeah, I didn't mean that the inker would just
that large of a liberty. So.
Yeah, I didn't mean that the inker would just do it, but that the inker would do the design based on the pencils that the artist was doing if he was working with an inker.
Look at that.
And I just kind of, it was just an
Can you pause
interesting
there?
question. Yeah, hold on a second. Back this up. But yeah, it was just an interesting thing that I've always kind of wondered about. I do it within my work. Let me see if I can get. But I've never really heard anyone actually talk about that kind of border design. But I've always loved it from the 90s.
Yeah, the jaggeded one. Yeah, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
It's when things are getting out of control, or that's what I feel like you're doing psychologically. So yeah, beautiful. Like, you want to talk silhouettes? Look how like he went in there too. Like he it's not like he didn't spend time on this. You know what I mean? Like, he went in there, he textured out the trees, he drew the fencing.
Great.
The grass, he did all this line work, and you rarely see anybody put that much effort into rendering grass. You just
Yeah.
you leave generally right. You leave it open. You put in a couple of tick marks, and you're like, "That's grass." And the colorist makes it green. If it's a smart colorist, they add texture in there.
Right.
But really, you just do that and move on. Again, it's kind of like, are you gonna spend more time drawing grass than Todd McFarlane? How bad do you want to be best? But then look at his cheat. One, it's a cheat. He didn't have to draw the houses, but two, I mean, these big black shapes just sitting there. It's like, ooh,
Yeah, I absolutely love stuff like that. And Todd is a great artist to look at for that because he does it so much. But he does it right. It looks great.
Yeah, and it's smart though too because he's doing that kind of to show that window. Because the window is lit, and if you read the text in that first panel, it said like the wee hours of the morning. So he went in there, just so they could pop it out and have a little bit of. I mean, they probably didn't do a glow back then, but they put a nice warm yellow or orange in there or whatever. You're like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of a feeling there. Today we would put a glow effect and whatnot, and make a little warmth to it. But yeah, I mean, that's probably stuff that Todd was pulling out because he was more like an EC Comics guy. He said like he loved like all the horror comics. So for trying to pull something like that's something I think I would see in a horror comic. What I mean?
That's a hell of a great point, and you see that especially once we get to the Spider-Man issues. That entire Spider-Man run that he does is very much a horror style of book. I mean, the way he draws is absolutely horror in every aspect.
Yeah, and Craven's daughter, she was a voodoo priestess. It had who was that? Morbius.
Yeah.
Down in the sewer, and he's feeding off the homeless. I mean, that was good stuff.
Zoom it. I'm zooming as far as we can zoom. I did this. I recorded this by hand for you guys. I want you to know.
Why did you? Don't you normally have a setup where you can just flip through it, or was that too difficult?
This book is huge to the point where like I can't put a camera high enough to get the book. So I put this on my kitchen table and I stood on two chairs, and I had to stand up above it to get the entire book within frame, so then I could go in and zoom in. Yeah, this book is massive.
Yeah, I think I ordered this. I don't know. Maybe my order didn't go through.
Did you order it on
Amazon?
remember
there was like an advance order on Amazon like months ago. Yeah.
Amazon's not shipping until October, or I guess it's October now, but like October pretty soon here though. But you could have gone to like Barnes and Nobles, which is what I did, and just get it the day it came out. But for some reason it was delayed shipping with Amazon. I don't know why.
I'll have to check that order.
Now that
Val says, "Hail Malin."
Like I see a little bit of Jack Davis in his work. Now that
tell
you
us
said
about
that
it.
thing about EC. Well, no, it's just Jack Davis. He was a cartoonist, but he also did some stuff for EC Comics. Like you would have to pull up his EC stuff to see what I was talking about. But no, I personally see it like some inspiration from Jack Davis a little bit.
Trying to pull
Who's this here? Henry Bemis said, I like that McFarlane was able to draw the classic villains on his run. Yeah, he pretty much covered, I would say, almost all of the villains. I don't know if he drew the Vulture or not, but on his Amazing Spider-Man run, he pretty much drew every single Spidey villain. Got some Mary Jane and very suggestive poses, although she's just exercising or doing some kind of yoga. We'll see here in the next page.
I missed it. I was trying to dig up Jack Davis.
Yeah, look up his.
That's a very nice. That's a very nice hand there in the right panel. Very nice. Yeah, we're going to see some sexy Mary Jane here, and this was we were talking about this earlier, John. That I think that.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Todd was one of the first people that really put Mary Jane in like sexy clothes, sexy positions that I can remember as far as Spider-Man artists go. Now, granted, I was a wee little lad when this came out.
I know he was like the guy who said like we got to do something with her hair. I think his thing was like you got to get some curls in it because they were still doing, to my knowledge, the very long straight haired MJ. I'm not sure because I'm not really the 80s guy, and I'm not the 70s guy for Spider-Man or anything really. So if there was a historian that came in here and said otherwise, but I feel like just from her background of being a supermodel that it'd probably be highly unlikely that he was the first one to kind of really be sexing her up. But the hair, the stylish dresses, like the modern, kind of bringing her out of the 70s, I guess, and putting her into the 1989 era,
a little more of an 80s hairstyle and stuff.
I think that's what his claim to fame was, just kind of bringing her back into the modern times, which everybody has to do periodically.
Right. Styles. What's up, Kayla?
That's
I just realized she's doing the Jane Fonda workout. Like I just read it. I was like, that's what she's literally doing, the Jane Fonda workout.
Oh, serious?
From the commercial, like, was it pulled like right from the commercials or something?
No, it literally says like, oh, Jane Fonda doesn't sweat. Like, down there.
Oh, was it in the dialogue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
Matt says, grown up Spidey was always more badass, taking on Venom, Carnage, and such. Yeah, I was always more into the grown up Spider-Man. Of course, that was a Spider-Man that was going on when I was growing up. I always liked that better than the teen.
I feel like
Spider-Man.
that shot is ballsy. Now, it may not have been as ballsy back then, where it's just her butt and her tits. I would have got a note if I was working at Marvel. I would have got a note about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
really?
for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. From Alana Smith. She would have been like, we can't be objectifying women like this.
I think that looks hot. That's awesome.
Yeah, it does look hot. That's why I drew it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was back when they were still able to draw women like this in comics. I mean, hell,
that looks like Todd was like bringing in like I don't know, that elongated like kind of Masamune Shiro stuff. Like the torso on there was just so long,
very long. Yeah. Yeah, the women in comics back in, I mean, you had like Psylocke running around in a thong and stuff, and that's the stuff I remembered as a kid when like chicks were just in thongs all the time. I was like, yeah, I like this comic book stuff. My mom didn't like it.
Yeah.
I did though, as a 10, 12, 14-year-old boy. Hell yeah. This is some awesome stuff. Yeah. I don't know if you were listening earlier, John, but I pretty much said that I probably got the way that I draw Debris from Todd McFarlane because he was so influential back, because it was just fun, right? It's just fun to draw this kind of just all over the place, long shards of just wood and metal flying.
Yeah, and it's not anything, not just flying. It's everything's exploding.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch, I don't know, some Japanese film or something, or where it's like everything, like you can't just go through the wall, the whole door is exploding. It's one step outside of reality, but also he's a superhero, he's super strong, so he's showing you what everybody else is showing you, he's just doing it at 11.
Yeah. Bordeaux said that Todd did get busted lifting the background from Atomo. Speaking of Shiro of manga. Shiro manga.
Masamune Shiro. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I ain't gonna hate on him. I don't care. Look, did he do it well? Yeah. Yeah. Thin borders over the thick black border. Yeah. Like
now that you're pointing that out, I'm actually noticing that a little bit more than I did in the past. Because like I said, I come from like the kind of a little bit of the Silvestri feel, which a lot of Silvestri's borders are very thin. It's just kind of the way he draws. But yeah, I see it. Before you had the thick border over thin, now you got the thin over thick. It's interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it works just like line weight. So like you get this nice thick border, and then you can look at all the details in the background there and those very thin lines. But same with the outer line on Spider-Man. It gets thick to thin, but it's the thickest line out of the bunch, the outline of it. But then you look at the webbing, and the webbing is, the thinner line. Even the eye is like its own little spot black and spot white by itself. Like everything just pops because of that. So, you know, you can do just thin borders and that's fine, but you'll never get it to where your border pops unless you make it pop. So that's what Todd did. He made his borders pop over top of other, you know, he would do it almost randomly, but it puts a little extra stank on it. And here's something that will drive me nuts to no end. And I'm going to call Todd. I'm going to call Todd out on it.
All right,
Okay,
what do you got?
So you put Spawn. You put Spider-Man in front of the panel, so you see his foot, you see the webbing down there. Everything's in front of the panel, so it's almost like the panel's like a window. Yet the foreground, the most foreground webbing, does not break the panel. Why, Todd? Why would you not break the panel on the most foreground element coming right at the reader? Why would you stop it in the panel? And it flattens it out because of that.
It's funny that you say that because I was actually thinking that a second ago, but then I was looking at the page and I was like, all right, technically, I guess that's the edge of the page there. So maybe that's why he didn't. But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, everything is breaking the panel except that one web flying at us. Yeah. But hey, that grass looks awesome.
Maybe it's because it's the edge of the page.
That's what I thought at first.
I mean, I haven't.
Then you plan it out. You plan it out, guys.
Yeah. Lord Nemesis says, call him out. Call him out. Yeah. Total failure.
Yeah. Big loser.
I love this old school comics of just, you have a lot of stuff going on here in the background, but these are all notes to superimpose it later. I'm pretty sure these are screens of somewhat. I'd have to actually read the story, but it says, oh, I can't read it. I could read it when I was actually taking it. I wonder if I get closer here. Nope.
Oh, that's a lot of text.
I saw something about Life Foundation at the top, and
yeah, it was supposed to be, I think, just a bunch of screens with different images on it. Yeah, comics back in the day were just full.
Yeah, I'm almost willing to bet that's not the edge of the page because he looks consistent with his borders going up on that mark.
Could be.
So I highly doubt he's cropping all of his panel borders at that line. So if we had a book, I don't know, we'd find out. But I'm willing to bet that wasn't being treated as the trim.
Sheldon says, "Get Todd on the horn. Let's get to the bottom of this." If I had his number, we'd call him up right now. I focused in on this because I just thought this was a very awesome perspective shot. I dig it a lot. I wonder if he used a lot of line, like building the perspective out of lines, if he just kind of naturally went through and did.
No, I think Todd said that what he would do is he would he would do some fuckery. Yeah, he's like I would get a gist. I would know essentially where my vanishing point is, and probably draw a series of just freehand out some lines, and then just boom, boom, boom on a ruler. So, yeah, I think there's probably fuckery in this perspective as I'm looking at it. So,
what I like about it is that kind of technique, because I do similar stuff a lot of times when I'm drawing. The perspective might not be perfect, but it's dynamic. It's dynamic. Right, when you look at this panel, you don't get hung up on very bad perspective. It looks like it is correct. I'm sure if you study it and really go in on it, you could probably find error.
You can make an error that certain amount of imperfection is doing something almost like an effect like you would get in a film. So. Where they do the one trick in horror movies, basically they're pulling the camera back at the same time that they're zooming it in, and it gets the figure and the whole background's moving around them, that distortion. So you could almost make an argument, and you could say, well, I'm trying to go for a certain kind of feel to where that something kind of isn't quite right in the scene. For this, I would say. I don't know if I'm not getting a horror or I don't know. Yeah, maybe you could argue that it's almost like if we were going to watch the movie, the zoom effect would have been going in and out of the little people
Yeah.
in the background. Yeah, we're pulling out. We're
Oh,
seeing stuff,
yeah.
you know, like,
that'd be-
oh, there's Spider. Oh, there, everything gets flattened out. You know, but whatever. Just do better, I guess, on perspective, Todd. Bastard.
I say, yeah, I still like it. It's
Yeah, I
called.
can,
What
look,
was he?
whatever.
What does he say? Statistical Zero says it's called rack
Focus.
focus.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right, now we know. I just want to take a second, real quick, guys. Say there's 92 people in the chat. Remember to hit that like if you can. Share us on social media. Let everybody know that we're live. I'm gonna take a shot for everybody joining us tonight. Malin jumping on. He has been on a little bit. It's always fun to have him here and give his knowledge, which he has a hell of a lot of. And Kayla for looking great as awesome. So hail to everybody. You got your shot there. You take. All right.
I'm gonna go make a taquito.
A taquito. That sounds good. That sounds really good. Malin's punching up.
Look, Todd's my number one guy.
Absolutely.
But I mean, he says it. He's like that. You know, a lot of his perspective is just fuckery. So you know, but I mean, this guy was drawing, you know, his book a month, but at this time, I believe he was drawing his book a month, and he was pretty much saying, "Hey, find me covers to ink. Let me ink over other people. Like, give me more. Like, I don't know if he was doing any of the lettering. Oh no, actually, there's a letter page right there. Yeah. So I mean, it eventually came down to it where he was drawing the book, lettering the book. I think he tried to color a book once.
Really?
So I mean, it's
That's
just like the guy was just, you know, on fire and trying to figure out, you know, how far he could go doing exactly what he's doing. And along the way, there's going to be certain imperfections, you know, but we wouldn't necessarily get our Todd.
I mean, in hell, didn't Amazing Spider-Man for a second there was coming out bi-monthly. Like, so he was doing 2 issues a month in the summer when Marvel would do that. I don't know what it was, a promotion or whatever, but in the summer back in the 80s, they would start going to 2 issues a month. And he never missed a beat that I can remember on Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, could be that. Yeah.
That's a lot of work. What do you think of this page right here on the left? It's just very simple. Two a stamping shot at the top and then the reveal on the bottom and like that. I don't know if he put all, let me see if he's got the, oh, I don't even focus on it. Way to go, Joe. I just noticed it though that all the newspaper, I wanted to see if he actually had words or if that was just scribble. It looks like it might just be scribble.
Yeah, it's just scribble.
Just scribble.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a quick page to do. You're talking about time saver for one page.
Yeah, but look what he had to do though for that one page. That is what presumably the opening page.
Yeah,
the writer wrote, "Have this guy stamp the declaration." Like Todd made it look like it's like a big opener, whoop, you know. Then that big fucking hand, you know, over the documents. Again, you get the big thick border, you get the panel overlap, you get the nice little title stuff up top. You get finale in red added in there. I don't know if Todd was doing that or if the Parker guy was doing that at this point. But they had to do a lot of planning out. Like there's a different process, you know, like I think a lot of times the word balloons would be added before they were even drawing. The lettering would be done at another time. Yeah, there's some weird process like that was going on. I don't know how that was dictated or whatnot, but so I don't know what Todd was working with from the get-go here. But for a guy stamping a document, I mean, he made it worth it for a 2-panel.
He makes it fun for 2 panels. That's that's what's interesting about it. Snake Dog said self-titled the Spider-Man stuff. He did almost everything besides coloring, then inking and lettering on just a few books. That's interesting. That's a lot of work. Go ahead, Kayla.
Is that like highlighted there? The word bubbles and everything? Is that because the color looks different? At least on my side.
I think it's the glue, right?
I'm just trying to figure out.
I think you're looking at like just discoloration. Yeah.
Is it? Because
it could have been a whiteout. It could have been coffee. Who knows? You know. So tape. I think there might be a tape mark on there somewhere. So.
Well, I know a lot of these too. They use that weird glue to put the word bubbles on, which over time turned things like to this yellowish discoloration on a lot of these original pages when they still put the word. All the stuff was pasted on these pages. So I think a lot of the discoloration you get with that is the glue. At least I've heard Todd talk, or not Todd. I've heard Rob talk about that on his podcast quite a bit. Like so, like all that weird color there with there's just in the word bubbles. I think that's because they put glue on that and then smacked it right down there on the page.
Then we have the Hulk over there, which I think didn't McFarlane. The first thing he drew for Marvel, didn't he do several issues of the Incredible Hulk in '87? I know his first work was that backup story in the Epic comic. What was it? Coyote. That was his first ever published work, I believe. But yeah, it's interesting to see him do the Hulk. It's awesome.
Yeah, he did some he did some Hulk issues. I don't know how many before really getting on Amazing Spider-Man and finding his niche there.
He did several of them. Yeah, and he was 87. Yeah, I want to say it was 87.
He always drew the Hulk in a very distinct way, very Todd McFarlane way, you know, very Frankenstein monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the appeal of Todd too. It's like you know, you could look at someone like Jim, and you know, Jim, there'd be people that are kind of in the same realm as Jim, someone, you know, like Barry Windsor Smith or something like that. Like be like, you know, I'd like to see how Jim would draw Wolverine. It's like, you're gonna draw him kind of like how Barry Windsor Smith drew, you know, like whether or not that's true or not, you know. But like with Todd, you're like, I want to see how Todd's gonna draw Wolverine. You know, it's like you're in your imagination, it's gonna be something completely Todd, whereas everybody else, you'd be like, I think I can kind of just see where they're gonna go from with that. But Todd's gonna do his own thing.
Yeah, Todd just had, I mean, very unmistakable style with everything he did. Hail Noah, McFarlane was basically in a league of his own at the time. Yeah, like I think that's why he is so revered. I mean, there were better artists, sure, but like his stylized art at the time, especially the time he took over Spider-Man and revolutionized that character, just sticks with people. And I've never heard people talk bad about Todd. I mean, business-wise is different, but art-wise, I've never heard someone say like, "Oh, I hate Todd McFarlane." I'm sure
people are trashing Todd all the time.
I'm sure there are.
I mean, goddamn, Rob can't go a day without hearing about how he didn't draw a foot. You know what I mean,
dude?
These guys are jealous as motherfuckers about Todd. But the thing about Todd is a powerful guy. That head is way too big. Todd is a powerful guy. Like even back then, like. But people know if you understand the type of personality that Todd McFarlane is, like anybody who's got the balls to talk shit about him, you better understand he might be your fucking boss one day. You know what I mean? Like Todd could be running one day. Like if we go back to 1990s, like this guy could be running Marvel or DC if he wanted. And now that's what they're kind of rumoring is he might be doing some kind of DC. I doubt it, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either, but that would be interesting. Oh, sorry, Kale. Let me back up.
Sorry, I got my mouth full anyways. I'm like, oh, top panel. I love that top panel.
Anna would love the Spider-Man stuff. Look at all the butt shots. And
I was just saying, there's a lot of butt shots.
Yeah, no, you know, people, you guys are over. You're sexualizing Peter Parker.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
That's a great shot. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I just love his use of blacks in that panel. But yeah, Todd does do a lot of good Spidey booty shots in these in these books. There's just splooging his web over everybody.
Yeah, an open background on that one. But the thing with that though is like that's great that he used an open background because otherwise, you know, would you be able to read those webbings as well?
Oh yeah, they totally get lost depending on the background. If it got too busy.
I need hot sauce. Sorry.
Hail the Lord said John cut himself off just to say the head was too big.
It was to
fit. Driving me nuts.
It was to fit the eyes, the big eyes that he did.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I didn't realize you were actually getting a. What'd you get? A taquito?
Taquito. I was so serious when I was like, I'm gonna get a taquito. I'm hungry. I forgot to eat when I got out of work, and then kind of just jumped on this train.
That is kind of a funky Spider-Man head there at the bottom.
A funky what?
Spider-Man head.
Oh yeah, look at that fucking chin. I don't know. God.
Yeah, that it looks like
Is that even Todd?
it looks like concave or something, you
Yeah.
know, like it's going tucked under too much.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little too much.
Again, like I said, some of this stuff I think he was doing bi-monthly. So some of the stuff might be a little rushed depending on when he was drawing it, I guess. Because some of this whole issue that we're looking at right now, there's a little bit of funkiness going on that you don't normally see. This is
I
that
feel like
issue where
look at that. That's one of the more mainstream. Like that Hulk head almost looks like a little bit more commercial. Like
got that big brow.
It's just Todd doing what Todd does, man. Sometimes he's on fire. Sometimes he's going to miss a little bit. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, that's why you get Todd. If you sat there and made everything perfect like Jim Lee, you know, we would have two Hulk. Like, look at those two Hulk heads. You know, those are nearly completely different Hulk heads.
I kind of feel like Tim Sale kind of emulated McFarlane's Hulk style.
I guess I've never seen Sale's Hulk.
Well, and like
never a big fan of Tim Sale.
Yeah, me neither, really. It's probably why I never seen his Hulk.
I didn't know anything about Tim Sale until Death Blow, and I was like, well, Jim's doing Frank, and this guy's doing Jim, and it just, I was like, oh, the copy of the copy has broken down, like it's all over. So, just never been a big fan of Tim Sale.
The buildings there.
Yeah, I like the building work. I like the foreshortening here. His foot is really just fucking flying at us.
In your face.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like everything about that right there, actually. Although, like the eyes work. Like, I don't know. So normally, I wouldn't probably like that, but the eyes work there for some reason, being that big, taking over all of that mask.
Well, especially with Spider-Man. You know, the only other artist I've seen that draws Todd's style of eyes is Philip Tan.
Really?
If you've ever seen some of the stuff he's just done with Spider-Man, whether it's some covers or fan art, like he draws the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man eyes to a T, which no one has done since then. Everyone stylized their own big eyes.
That's not true. I gave Spider-Man the McFarlane eyes and Thunderbolts, but it was
I take it back.
What's his name? Miles Morales Spider-Man.
I take it back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, John. I prostrate myself before you and beg your forgiveness.
Forgive him. But there he uses that big black panel border, makes it stick out from. But look at these word balloons. He didn't leave room for the word balloons.
So that bugs you that they're on the side there on both the panels.
Look, if you're gonna do it now, okay. So I'm gonna hold this against the letterer a little bit too. Okay. So it's almost saved. Like the right side where it says another new power, I like that, but I wish it was down just a little bit more. So it's balanced between the other two borders. And then the one on our left, where he says Ash, where'd that light come from? It's sitting as a tangent right on the lower panel border. So nudge that down so it sits right balanced in between those two borders. And then everything fits in there like it was meant to be. But you know, whatever. You can't kill letterers fast enough, I feel like. You know?
I do see what you're saying. That would make a little bit more sense. Henry Bemis says, John, make the sign of the cross. You're forgiven, Joe. Yeah, I do need that.
I don't even think that page, like that panel, needs words, to be honest. I mean, that's just my preference.
Another new power. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess.
He's shooting an eye blast.
Yeah,
out.
I was just gonna say in the story because he gets cosmic powers in this issue, so he experiences all these new powers that Spider-Man has never had before. So maybe in the story wise, it is needed there because he's the first time he's shooting lasers out of his eyes or whatever. So, but yeah, I get what both of you guys are saying.
Looks so cool. I like the silhouette on the next page at the bottom.
You know, I love silhouettes.
You and me
all
both.
The best. Todd McFarlane. Like that. I don't know why it held so long in that panel.
I think I just wiped sauce on my face. I'm so sloppy. Whatever. Like, did I?
You might have. Hey, look
I
at
feel
that
like I
Hulk
should have made
face.
more. That wasn't enough. I'm starving here.
What do? Get punched into orbit?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it.
which does not exist, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
globe
Flat Earth,
Earth
everybody.
conspiracy.
Yeah, this so this whole the artist edition, it doesn't have like every single page, so there's really big gaps within issues. So the sequence where Spider-Man punches him into orbit is not in here, which kind of sucks because that is a fun sequence. So they just kind of skip all that, and he's just kind of floating in space, and then Spider-Man flies up and rescues him.
Hmm.
Yeah, but see, I love that. But I
Yeah.
was gonna say that's just it definitely did skip. Yeah, I was like, huh? I don't think I drank enough to be, you know.
It does. Yeah.
I think we almost got the shot in the middle panel there. I think we almost got that shot when Spider-Man was doing the battle with Juggernaut in that X-Force crossover. that he
You
did.
might have, yeah. It does kind of look familiar. It just
Yeah.
just thinking about it for a second. It's a good way to draw a very bulky character without having to go there and get all the details with the position. Just black it all out. A cheat, but
It would have
looks
been
good.
awesome if that sound effect where it says Shiro, if there was an I in there, so it said Shiro, like Azumune Shiro.
There you go. There you go.
Now I want to
Easter
try.
egg.
I think I just love that. That's awesome.
Okay, now here we go. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break here for a second. I'm gonna take another shot because we did cross 100. We're under 100 again, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's joining us tonight.
Taking another shot, and I'm gonna make more taquitos.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Hey.
sorry.
What is this?
I'm sorry.
The drink and eat stream?
I kind of. I'm sorry.
Hail to everyone and taquitos, I guess. Mm.
I'm going to take a
Tequila's a
second and
tequila.
clear this out on my Twitter.
All right. Well, if you guys are doing that, I'm gonna run.
But I
a
really
commercial.
wish I had.
Give everybody a second here.
Ron's 113 fire sauces like from
Oh,
Taco
nice.
Bell.
All right, Kayla, do what you have to do. I'm gonna run a quick commercial, and then we're gonna jump into the Spider-Man issues here, which is my
commercial?
favorite. I do. Here we go. All right, everyone. I know we're taking a little bit of a break at looking at this amazing comic book art and checking out some of these awesome stories that should never be forgotten. I just want to take a second to let you guys know that this channel is now monetized. What does that mean? Well, you can send super chats with any kind of question that will be answered immediately, right off the bat, ahead of everybody else. Super chats help fund Superior Press and everything that I'm trying to do over here with Reaper Destroyer and appreciating comic book art. So I thank you all very much. I'd like to remind you can become a member of this channel now. You can get exclusive behind the scenes look at me working on Reaper Destroyer from the beginning to the end. Your eyes only. You get to see what nobody else sees. Also, every 4 months, we're doing an original art giveaway to all of my members. All right, back to your regular scheduled programming. Demon Eye says, Malin brings all the nerd boys to the yard. That's probably true. That's probably true.
No shame in my game.
That's right.
I gotta wait 3
we-
minutes.
Michael Clan says, hail to you guys.
Hell.
Hail to everybody I haven't had a chance to say hail to today. The chat is hopping today. Appreciate you guys being here. Looking at some fantastic art. Looking at Todd McFarlane Spider-Man Artist Edition that just came out a couple weeks back. And this book is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a gigantic book. I want to say it's like 14 by 21, somebody said in the chat. So it's got everything you want out of original art blown up to the size. Original art is on 11 by 17 paper. This is right up there with that size. So you get to see everything in its glory. It's definitely good for the collection. I suggest you guys go out and get it before it gets out of print. Because like me, I missed out on both Spawn editions that came out. And I think now they're going for like freaking $300, $400 on eBay if you want to get one of those. So get out and get this before it's gone. It's definitely worth the collection. You get to see some fantastic art.
You can
Now we're
get
gonna
it
jump.
Barnes and Nobles. People always forget that Barnes.
Yeah,
and Nobles.
that's where I got mine. Barnes and
Local
Nobles.
comic shop doesn't have it.
Yep, I got this at Barnes and Nobles. You can also do it at Amazon. I'm sure it's all over the place, but definitely don't miss out on this. We got in the house, he says, just got mine today. It is incredible. Hell yeah. Yeah, a lot of people I've seen are getting this. Like, this is awesome. We're getting into some of my favorite McFarlane work between.
Oh, mine is expected to be delivered between October 9th and October 18th by 10 p.m.
Okay, yep, that sounds. When I was originally
They
looking,
didn't pack it correctly.
What if it's sitting outside my door right now?
oh shit, oh shit.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
Just when they do deliver it, because Amazon is like a $1 million company, I would just be like, didn't show up. Need to refund me.
how cool would it be if Johns was actually here right now? That'd be funny if he shows back up and he's like, "It's here."
All right, hold on. All right,
Sean said, "I got mine."
Taquitos.
You and your taquitos.
I'm freaking 7.
Sean said, "I got mine at Barnes and Nobles too." That I looked it up on Amazon, guys, and I saw the wait time for shipping, and I was just like, "Fuck that." I was like, "There's no way. If I could get this today," I looked it up on Barnes and Noble. They had it today. I went and got it that day. Oh, that sucks, man. I was really hoping you were going to show back up with it in hand.
There's no happy endings in the real world, Joe.
I was like, that would have been awesome.
I got food.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So this is my favorite Todd work between Spider-Man 1 through pretty much the first 5 issues of Spider-Man I loved. The next few Spider-Man issues were fantastic as well. And then Spawn 1 through 4 is some of my favorite period of Todd's work. Because this was when you got really into what I thought Todd felt the most comfortable, when he was drawing more of this horror style, which we were talking about earlier. You can see it in these Spider-Man issues. You see it in Spawn, obviously. And he just, I think, comes into his own with this stuff. So I'm extremely excited to get into this. This is fantastic work.
I mean, this took how can I put it? Sales wise, this was off the charts.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, how many issues did Spawn, jeez. I pulled the John. Did Spider-Man 1 sell? Was that 5 million? Was it? I can't remember. Ryan B says, "Hell yeah, Todd rocks. Just found your channel. This is awesome." Well, I appreciate it, Ryan. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can catch all these live shows and anything else I put out, because we look at some awesome art on this channel. That's what we are about, and that's what we're doing right now.
Well, there was newsstand. It was over 90,000 copies. I know that much because there was also the newsstand.
Yeah.
Stuff too. Then, but that is fucking amazing.
We're getting into some
details.
hard nipples area.
This is where I point out the fact that Todd was the most manga American comic book artist without ever trying to be. You know what I mean? Like, you got the speed lines, you get the goofy looking cartoonish faces, you get the big action, crazy design. Like, even manga has, incredible panel design.
Yeah, it actually really does. Like, I'm not a big fan of manga in general, but there's a lot of things that I like about the art style of manga just altogether. Looks like the chat is saying 1.7 or 1.5 million, or some people are saying 2 million, but right around there in sales. And it absolutely rocked. What I love about this, John, is, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have because you're a huge Mcfarlane fan. He was doing this technique that not a lot of people were doing at the time, where specifically in Spider-Man, he would not do like these solid blacks. He would do these very heavy line work. If you look at the lizard's face here, and you see a lot of these line works here, which is showing shadow, but then the colors would go in, and they wouldn't necessarily darken it out. They'd almost lighten it up. You remember that?
I remember the line work. I remember the coloring. I don't remember them lightening the coloring, but I'm going to take your word for it.
I don't have any issues close, but yeah, there was a.
I might.
But yeah, Todd would do this
if you
periodically. But then, when you get into Spawn, I think, from my recollection, he kind of dropped it out. So it'd be a lot more of these kind of just open shapes that he'd let a colorist just go in there and do their job. But here we're still dealing with flat tones. So, Todd just going in there and making sure that he's getting, the right value, I
Right.
guess.
Well, there was, if Kayla can find it, we'll bring it up because it gave a unique feel to the Spider-Man issues. And I guess I'll have to just point out, what I'm talking about because I'm not doing a really good job of explaining it. But yeah, it was just something I noticed that McFarlane did and not a lot of people were doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just this run of Spider-Man was just, man, brings back so many memories. Like this was.
It's a what
I
if.
wish they had more of Spider-Man 1 in this edition. Which I've got some pages after this video is done of actual pages from Spider-Man 1 that they didn't include, which I wish they had.
2099. Hold on.
This is by far my favorite work. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I like all the Doom stuff. Again, from like a kind of design thing. Like when you had these, the camera pulled out here and you could see both pages. I mean, it just looks like there's something going on the page here that you don't see when you normally open up a comic book. Layers of I don't know, depth and design.
Yeah, this was absolutely, I think, some of his best work, just idea wise. I mean, this is the first time writing solo. The Doom stuff was really interesting, especially within the story. It was this drum you would kind of always hear in the background, especially I think.
Yeah, I think Todd described it as basically when like you're watching almost like King Kong or something. You hear like, it would just be this continuous drum beat building up. Like if it was the score, that's what the Doom represents.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. I love this panel. The action is great. Again, Todd was very cartoony.
Jumanji drums.
Oh, there you go.
That's a good way because it didn't really signify that there was like a tribe anywhere. It's just you kept all these drums.
Yeah. That's a good one. Todd was very cartoony, but I love the dynamic here of this lizard. It was lizard, right? Yeah, just ripping this dude to shreds, and it has just enough gore. Which was the Spider-Man title was a little bit more, I would say, mature than the Amazing Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And I loved how they decided to go with the black blood instead of the red blood.
Black sperm all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I love how Todd just goes all out with these issues, and just like the violence is stepped up, to 11, like you're talking about, compared to his run on Amazing. And I think that's what makes this run of Spider-Man is so impersonable to me. And I just remember, just look at horror, right? We're talking about horror art, and this was just beautiful. I love this.
Yeah, dramatic. White panel border. Thick white panel border on a black page.
Yeah, there we go.
Real graphic, he's thinking graphically here. So I mean that's why it looks so incredible, be it black and white or color.
Yeah, this actually I think this actually looks better in black and white, to be honest with you. Like the colors in this book were pretty good, but I think you lose a lot when you look at the colored versions of this book as opposed to looking at these black and white pages. I feel like I've seen more in this edition than I ever have of his art with this run. This panel right here, just love this panel. Like it's just completely bloody, completely violent without having to have any kind of actual red blood, which I'm sure was able to pass the comics code at the time because they made it all black. But at some points I thought that the black blood in comics was more gory than the red, if that makes sense.
It also works for certain characters too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really expect him to have red blood? Just saying.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Does a lizard have red blood? Here we go.
Have green. I don't know. Yeah,
could. Hell, Pitt had pink blood.
Look at all this webbing.
Yeah, there we go.
So awesome.
There we go.
He's just got wads of it all over the place. It's like he's trying to put it in his pocket. There's so much of this shit. Now, is this other bit of webbing, is that connected to? Oh, okay, it's still connected. Okay, all right. Because I was like, wait,
Yeah.
that's not going off to anywhere. But no, it is. It's going from
Yeah, I
his
was saying,
hand
see
to
the
his
one
other hand.
strand
Yep.
that's going off the page there. Gabriel says, let's have Gabe El Taib color one of these pages just for fun. I'd love to see it.
No,
I was actually,
Hmm.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, I was actually thinking that it would be cool to see a modern day colorist take a try at some of these pages to see if
Well,
they
they
can really
did. They
bring
did
out
on
Todd's
that.
art.
They did on that Mcfarlane. What was it? I think I have a copy of it. That large Mcfarlane Spider-Man, Art of Spider-Man, whatever.
They did. They recolored it.
They did. They recolored something on the cover. I think kind of like they did for like Rob. Remember how they like recolored some of Rob's original covers?
Yeah,
Um,
yep.
yeah. No, it looked good. It looked real good. You know, I think the trick is, you know, not overcoloring this stuff. I think, you know, because I mean that's really the trick with a lot of things in comics, though, because the old comics have that kind of graphic quality. I think because it's almost like the color is like the simplest of layer. You know, it's like it's one tone, maybe two tones, maybe three tones if you're someone that's really doing some extra work. But once you do all these big gradients over top of something that's already put in all these line weights to try to compensate for depth, you know, kind of you get like weird shapes within shapes, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like it something doesn't quite work perfectly. So if you could just do like a bare minimum in terms of values, you know, I think a lot of comic book art would probably be better off for that today.
The chat is saying spider taint and nice crotch shot. I agree.
Yeah.
This shot is for the ladies.
Sexism in comics. You guys are just trying to get these books to jerk off to them. Women.
Eric Huffle says, I agree. The flat colors in comics are. I like flat colors in comics. Yeah. Sometimes they can be really good. Modern colorists are fantastic, but sometimes they can get too caught up in the effects nowadays or just the techniques nowadays. Oh, that is still sick.
I love that. That is amazing.
And this is one of the ones I'll say, guys, that gets lost with the color. When you read the actual issue of this, I think this gets lost with the color. The color doesn't capture this scene the way it should. The black and white, perfect. You can see the silhouette the way it should be. Yet the speed line showing the movement and the energy. The Doom is popping out. Spider-Man's in the foreground here. There we go. Like that. Todd's work almost works better in black and white for some of this stuff, honestly. At least with the colors of the day at that time.
Yeah, looks good.
Now, I will say that, you know, some of his stuff in this run is a little bit busy, so a good colorist could separate that better. But the colors at the time, I don't think did this justice. Whoever the colorist was, I can't remember. But because the black and white of this is just, I mean, that bottom right panel there when the lizard's getting impaled.
Can you imagine though being
wicked.
the colorist of this book and being like, you know,
You
grew up with like Ditko and, you know, these Spider-Man, Lizard and whatnot, and now you get like you're coloring this and you're coloring peak Todd McFarlane, who's just doing the absolute best Spider-Man of all time. Like,
Right.
It must have been a thrill to be like, because all you ever imagined doing was coloring Ditko, you know. And
Right.
now here you are, fucking over the guy at his fucking prime. You get to do the ultimate. Like, how much? Like, you know, just from a coloring book perspective, you would have so much fun. Just let me get my red marker. Yeah,
Mhm.
let me just go to work on old Spidey here, like that. Yeah, that'd be a good fucking time, man.
Yeah, 100%. This is another panel. A lot of these panels are like this, where he would disappear the lizard into heavy shadow, and all you would see is his eyes and his teeth and his tongue.
Mhm.
And it works so great. And I think sometimes it did get lost with the colors, with the black and white. You can just see this beautifully for what it is.
It looks like you're looking at a whole nother book.
Hmm.
With the black and white.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100% it does. And honestly, from Amazing Spider-Man to Spider-Man, it seems like obviously it's Todd, you can tell this is art, but it seems like a whole nother artist with a lot of stuff that he's doing within this book. It's so dramatically different, in my opinion.
Henry Beeman said McFarlane liked to show the eyes and teeth and black everything else out on the face out. It's a great technique. Yeah, but it'll get you in a lot of trouble.
It is a great technique. It looks good, especially in something like this, where this book is at night. You know, he took Spider-Man out of the day and he put Spider-Man into nighttime, which you didn't really see Spider-Man a lot. So this made this book very dark, very dynamic, and you could play with those heavy shadows within the storytelling, which he absolutely does. I remember, I think Rob said once he was talking about this, he did like a whole podcast about Todd McFarlane and his Spider-Man run. And he said that this was Todd's Dark Knight. That Todd really wanted to make this kind of like Spider-Man's Dark Knight Returns. Like that was his thought process.
Yeah, wasn't there something in there about like the marketing? Wasn't it like the Arachnite Returns?
Oh, yeah,
like
you're
that?
right.
Yeah.
It might have been.
I feel
I
like
love
there's
that.
certain
I love
artists
that.
that their stuff just looks better black and white. When it gets colored, it gets lost. Todd definitely is one of them. Art Adams is one. Bernie Wrightson is one. So
Yeah, I agree.
there's certain artists that when their stuff is colored, it really does not show as much as the detail. So
Comic blackface. That's true. It was. I love this panel. I love how the blacks just perfectly accentuate the action and the motion. You just have the anguish of the hands. I love how the Doom slowly disappears to nothing as the Lizard dies here, or at least perceives to be dead here in this scene.
let's see.
For $5, Sean, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. He says, "What is incredible about Todd is that he could take the same kinds of pages everyone else has to solve, and brought the fuck. Sorry." And brought you into action. Genius. Sorry, I thought something was crawling on my leg. That was not.
It was a spider.
It was, yeah, it might have been a spider. That was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. What is incredible about Todd is that he could take the same kinds of pages everyone else has to solve and brought you into the action. Genius. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
What do you got here?
It's so
There you
dynamic.
go. The Legend of the Arachnite.
There it is. Okay.
I've never seen that in black and white.
Yeah.
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 That's
So I'm
beautiful.
just saying it was in the marketing. So up yours, Rob.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you, brother.
I say that with love, Rob.
Absolutely.
Saying it wasn't like a big secret. Yeah. Really great. And yeah, the spotting of blacks in there. Oh, look at these nice vertical panels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick said, "Rest in peace, the Preacher comic artist that passed away a while ago."
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
The preacher artist that he doesn't know his name or when he died. I guess.
I don't know his name.
Is that
or when he died.
topical?
The Garth Ennis book?
It might have been. I thought it was something that
I mean,
happened
Preacher,
right now,
yeah.
which is why I highlighted it. But yes, rest in peace. That is sad. Yeah, these
he doesn't know his
panels.
name.
Steve Dillon.
Could be.
Steve
I didn't.
Dillon.
I didn't
Okay.
read Preacher. So I'm not
When
quite
did he
sure.
die? What was a while ago? You see, like, come on, guys.
I'm confused what this has to do with Todd McFarlane stuff.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
But it is sad. I agree.
I love that.
I was
all
just gonna
of this.
say-
Just derailed the whole conversation. Who was that?
It was.
Who did they super chat that?
No, I thought
No.
it was Patrick. Patrick. I appreciate you, Patrick. I do.
Oh, you just
But-
grabbed somebody randomly out of the
I-
thing and
I
derailed your
did.
own show,
I did.
Joe.
I thought it was something that just happened. I
Christ.
saw rest in peace to the blah blah blah, and I was like, "Oh shit, somebody died." So I wanted to see what it was. You know,
People
the
write
chat's
rest
usually
in
good.
peace.
The chat is
all the
usually
time.
good sometimes and bringing up like breaking news to us sometimes. So That's my bad.
This
I'll take
reminds me.
I'll take the wrath of Malin for that.
This kind of
Christ.
reminds me of something Kelly Jones did. Although this is before Kelly Jones did what he did. I don't know why. Probably because it's black and white now.
That could be. What I love about the design of this page is you have this scene where he's in the rain turns to blood, and he starts to feel it with, you know, he's seeing it on his fingers. But the way that he drew the hand here was, you know, just the thought process of focusing, what I'm assuming here is the pinky. You're not really like seeing the motion of his of the fingers like you would think of. Like here, he takes it from a completely different angle. Let me back this up just a little bit. Okay. And I think it's just the camera angle is fantastic. The idea of doing it, okay. It just works so good. I mean, you see what he's doing, you get the sense of what he's doing, but it's from a completely different angle. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but there's something about that shot that I've always loved going back to when I was a kid. And that face shot there is just absolutely wicked. This is some of the coolest you're going to see Spider-Man, in my opinion. Just dark, and the big eyes and everything just works so well in the Spider-Man, the objectiveless Spider-Man, as Rob Liefeld was saying.
He looked like he got the shit kicked out of him. You really see that. Like, it looks like he's about to die.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I mean, yeah, this whole first 5 issues was the first story arc. There were plenty of times where Todd put Peter Parker through some shit in this story arc. Beat him the fuck up. Yeah, look at all that
That's
crazy detail. Again, with the speed lines, a lot of fucking speed lines. I like how they broke up too.
Yeah.
They're not all consistent.
there's so many of them. Like
again, he took the background and he brought it within, you know, so he cut it out. If you see what I'm saying. So the foreground is out in its own plane. The background is basically a panel behind the foreground. The line weights, like if you look at the line weight of that speed trail from the lizard, you see the speed lines are a thinner line than that. So they're being pushed into the background. Lizard has a good outline, again, varying thick and thin, predominantly thick, you know, keeping him separate from all those itty bitty speed lines in there. Yeah, that's like a master at work.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, like, this is the stuff that artists think about while we're drawing. You know, and I do my own black and white, so these are things I think about as well. So,
right,
if you're an aspiring artist, that's what sets people apart. Younger artists and more seasoned artists, because they don't really understand how to use line weights yet and how to create depth and layers.
Yeah, it is an important thing. If you haven't figured out, I mean, working with a good inker can help that as well. But if you are inking your own stuff, it's definitely important to know the line weights.
Yeah, there's more of that value that you were talking about in the lizard's face.
Yes, yes. Kayla, were you able to find any of that? If it's too big of a deal, don't worry about it. But
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more boxes stacked there. And
don't worry about it then.
Like the boxes that I picked up, that was just a whole box. There was some Spider-Man stuff in there, but it was more like it was some Spider-Man and then all $20.99, like all the $20.99.
Oh, okay. I'll see if I can find some. I'll find some stuff on.
I have no clue right now because I got boxes there. I mean, I showed you last week, so I don't know. I got to get everything organized. So,
John, this page right here. Let me back this up just a second.
I love the different sizes of those panels and how they go into the larger panel.
Yeah, I would say this page right here is interesting with the design because it starts. The left of the page is lower, and it moves up
like a staircase.
Up the page. Yeah, there's a staircase which leads you out, but it doesn't take you in the stereotypical right reverse Z of a normal kind of pattern. What do you think about? I mean, I love this. I think this is
I love it.
absolutely awesome. What do you think of it as a design page, though? Especially
Oh,
with
the design is definitely there. Storytelling, yeah, it's fine. What matters to me is the emotional effect that you're getting out of this. Just like the other page we're looking at, it's very cinematic. It's building mood. Anybody else it would have just been like, okay, here he is in a thing. Now we're gonna get him up. You know what I mean? But Todd's sitting there writing this stuff out. He's giving himself these moments. And,
Right.
I think as a storyteller, that's like, a very powerful thing to, be able to give yourself as an artist and say, okay, let's take it, and Mignola will do that too. Like, Mignola will have a single panel that is, it's a statue, it's a gargoyle. Yeah, it's a crow looking on. It's some outside observer that can't rationalize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's there. Like it's a witness. You know what I mean? Like it's a one panel to just show you there's this non-sentient thing witnessing. It might be a painting on a wall witnessing a murder. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It's these things that like other people aren't going to give you those opportunities unless they're really good. But guys, I hate to tell you, in comic books, there ain't that many really good writers out there. So that's why it behooves you to go out there and write your own stuff. So
yeah, I agree.
Give yourself these moments, little masturbatory cinematic moments. Sure.
What I love about this is you do get to feel, even with the vertical panels, of a camera that's hyper zoomed in, that's slowly pulling back. So yeah, very cinematic. Absolutely.
Yeah. Todd does that a lot. The zoom outs.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Kayla.
No, I was going to answer that. So I think it's, what is it? So 1 through 5 was Torment.
Yep.
And then the Wolverine Wendigo storyline.
Perceptions.
I know Perceptions. Yes.
Yeah.
Part 3 was in, what is it? There's Perceptions Part 10, Part 3. No, it's Spider-Man 10 was Part 3. So it had
there
to be
was
after
a Hobgoblin story in there too. I don't remember what that one was called. Was that a one issue?
No, that was at least 2 issues with Ghost Rider guest starring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was 2 issues, and then it went into the Wendigo Wolverine storyline, and then and then you went into the Morbius storyline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was
that is correct.
Big City or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
Subsidy.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I believe that's right. Yeah.
Yep, there was Subsidy, and there was 2 parts to it. It was like Part 1 and Part 2.
And here you go. It's a continuation of that scene. We had that extreme camera pull out in the very next page, still in the same scene.
And then zooming back in.
And then zooms back in. Yeah, exactly.
So fucking cool.
Yeah, very like that's very cinematic. Who the hell? What writer would ever write that for you? Nobody.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it zooms right back into his eye.
Mm-hmm.
Hail Illuminati, a member of the channel.
It just works beautifully.
You wouldn't know it based on the TV John watches, but he's got good taste.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Todd was he did a ton of these vertical panels. Just
Is
all
this
it.
where it ends?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, please don't end there.
It's going to switch from the first story arc and going to get into the next story arc. It's got a few pages of that. Then it goes into a few of the Wendigo story and a little bit of the Morbius story, and then it ends at that. It doesn't go past that, unfortunately. So we don't get any of the X-Force crossover.
That's a dick tease. Kind of blue balled you there on this book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that would have been. So they don't include any of that.
Yeah, I'm like,
no, none of it. None of the.
I wonder if that's still like a Marvel fucking fu.
Maybe
more money out of everybody. They're like, we're gonna do this one, then we'll do the next one, and you're gonna spend another $200.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to do a second one of this. Someone said they're going to do a second one of the Jim Lee artist edition as well. So maybe they'll have more pages than that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so good.
The good window
Ugh.
being there and how it carries over. Like, it just blends so well together. And then I like the transition to the smaller vertical panels there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good
and look how
contrast.
full like McFarlane's panels, like, well, especially here, but also they're vertical here, but they feel
Yeah.
full. Like even the debris panels, like it's almost like a living, breathing thing. You can get in there. There's depth in there, and then when you look at the page on the right, like that's where I'm like, oh, he went Silvestri.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I love the silhouettes and like
Yeah,
all the
ton.
silhouetting there. How that just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a cool mood setter that the skin or the actual human is silhouetted and all the clothes are the highlights there. Like that's really cool. Henry said McFarlane's inking style is underrated. It's his inking is awesome. That's one thing I've actually always heard. Like everybody I've talked to has actually said like how good of an inker Todd is. Some people, Rob specifically, has said he thinks Todd is actually a better inker than he is artist.
I would say he's
That's
right
wicked.
and wrong. I'd say that Todd McFarlane is still number one. Todd McFarlane is the best in my mind artist.
cool.
And when it comes to inking, he's probably better than most, like by a
Yeah.
long shot. Todd, here's the thing with Todd though, like Todd, when he inks you, it looks like you were inked by Todd McFarlane. Like
Right.
Todd embellishes and puts his line work and his little dings and things like that into your work. But it looks better and fuller for it. So
Gabriel's
100%.
talking about what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's the only downfall, guys. Go ahead, Kayla.
No. Gabriel is talking about what I was talking about earlier, but also that's what I think made him stop kind of working on Spider-Man. They didn't let him do what he fully wanted to do. So what got published wasn't,
yeah,
what got published from that Juggernaut page wasn't exactly what he wanted published. I remember he did some kind of interview about that someplace. How cool is that hand? The hand.
I was just about to say that hand is wicked. Let me see if I can back up here without
that
losing
was
my spot
sick.
too much.
And
There
I
we go.
loved it. I love this transition from all the silhouettes there into the face, and then on the next page, it just works.
Now
as
the
like
Doom
a
is
good
back.
Page turn. Yeah, it looks awesome.
I wonder if he did the Doom.
yeah.
If he lettered the
Yeah.
Doom. Oh.
Probably,
believe he did.
I would think so. It looks. See, I love all of that. How that works.
Yeah, sorry, I was losing my balance in this point.
I've never seen this like
Yeah.
this. So looking at this like this is like looking at a completely different book.
Yeah. It was really cool to be able to. The first time I looked at this, I was actually on vacation, and I had to take a break from my vacation and run to town to go pick this up because I wanted it right then. And just flipping through it, I was just like in awe. I love again, this is vintage Todd McFarlane to me with the debris, just the in this, because he did this a lot in Spawn too with the alleyways and all the trash, and it's just very claustrophobic, right? It's just like everything is just packed in here. It's on top of you. You're just in this mass amount of just junk and debris in this scene.
Yeah. But also like he in his writing, he's bringing us like his Frank Miller there, like the classic, my guts are on fire, my ribs are on fire. Like we did that too in Graveyard Shift, everything's broken inside. It's all grinding. This descriptive of you trying to get into the pain that the hero is going through.
Richie Dupe says, "Hail Joe, hail Kayla, hail the other dude, hail the chat, and bananas too." I like that. Thank you. Hail. This giant face shot, half face shot, I think the Image guys did very well in the early Marvel days. I just love the blending of the two scenes together. I love what they do with Spider-Man's eye material. Because when I was a kid, I could never figure out if Spider-Man's eyes were material or if they were glass. Because they would always put these jagged shapes within his eyes when he was beat up. And I always thought it was like some kind of glass material. Here, Todd does like a version of both of it. But it looks great. Just visually wise, it looks fantastic, whether it makes sense or not. It definitely doesn't look like a material kind of line work. And look at that. Oh, I like how you can see where you had the chin a little bit farther out there. You see that? The original line there.
Oh, the blue line, yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing that's cool.
Took it in.
I don't know. But it's another thing that's cool about these versions of the books is you can see sometimes underdrawing where they originally had spots and where they made adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed the boobs have eyes.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to bring that up earlier and I completely forgot. Yeah, the eyeballs on her tits are perfectly positioned, like right where her nipples would be. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Well, that's the Craven thing, though, right?
I never
Was Craven
noticed
like that too?
Before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Craven had a lion on his chest, right? Wasn't that his thing?
I think so.
Let me look it up.
Okay. Yeah, these just heavy shadowed. I mean, even Spider-Man there, where the face is blacked out, all you see is the teeth.
He had the eyes, sometimes falling right over his nipples too. Here's something.
Okay.
Hold on,
I like how he kept it there with the chick. Then I like that.
Mm-hmm.
We got Luke in the house. Hail, Luke. Good to see you.
You want to pop that up real quick, Joe?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Ta-da. All right.
Right by his niplets.
Yeah.
That's a sexy Craven.
That was a little bit more of a sexy Craven, right?
I even like that there too, where that's whited out like that.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's interesting where he does all these heavy black silhouettes, and in this panel he decides to do a white silhouette in front of the speed lines. Now, granted, the colorist probably did whatever solid color they were putting in there, but
yeah, that's the thing is like when you're dealing with flat tones, maybe you could trust the colorist to go in there and because they're only more or less going to lay down some kind of flat tone and it more or less works. But if you expect it, if I handed that into a colorist today, they would probably try rendering in whatever they could. It would probably need to have a lot of back and forth to handle that successfully. So yeah, I would probably avoid it. Or what I would do is I would do what Todd has done in other things where I would just take another line and I would just designate where the light and the shadow are different from. So I would just have one little thing. So you would see that there's a light spot up top and a dark spot down below. And that probably would have been enough information for a colorist to go in there and do something properly with all their gradients and whatnot.
Our Sid says, I'm a professional artist and want to work on my own non-woke comic book, but works like this makes me massively demotivated.
No, it should be motivating you.
I was just about to say,
your ass to get shit done. Sorry.
Yeah, 100%. Like this should be motivating you.
Pure motivation. Like, no offense.
Yeah, it makes me want to draw. I mean, it did make me want to draw.
Makes me want to draw, and I can't even draw.
I want to draw a cool Spider-Man.
Yeah, 1,000%. One thing I love about this channel is just looking at this art always motivates me to continue to do. Oh, here, before I pause that. That's awesome. It continues to motivate me to look at this art that I love, the stuff that I grew up on, and continue to jump in and work on my book. You know, like it definitely should be a motivating factor for sure.
Should be inspire you. You know, there's something to learn from everything that's here. Although I will say they have not learned how to produce a fucking lay flat book with all the money that this company has. They can't make a lay flat book. I'm sorry, that drives me crazy.
Yeah,
you can go on Shutterfly and make a lay flat book where there's not a scene with pictures. And no, like
you do lose a little bit with this one.
Wasn't right there in the middle. That freaking crease of pages drive me nuts.
It still looks awesome, but yeah, like it's you do lose that art.
But if you do feel demoralized from something like that, then go look at someone that sucks, and yeah, you go, yeah, I can do better
Right.
than that guy. Yeah,
Yep.
so
Just go and pick up some of the stuff that's on shelves today.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, go grab some Marvel now, and
Trust me,
you'll be
it's
energized.
it's not great.
Mhm.
Not
I like
great.
the I like that it's a double page spread with the nice big mass down below. Like,
Yeah.
again, when you're thinking like graphics and design, even like Red Star. If you guys read the Red Star, I know I talk about Red Star a lot, guys, but like they would take the logo Red Star and you'd get to like page 3 or 4, and then it'd be like, here's the big double page spread event, and then in the background in the sky it'd say Red Star. You know what I mean? It was like, whoa. So having something like that, you can really use that to impact. And that's what I remember thinking when I was reading that back in the day. I was like, God, I wish X-Men would do that. Like you just get 4 pages into the story, then it turned into double page spread, and the whole background be X-Men over double page spread, and then you have all these little figures fighting up in the foregrounds. Design, guys.
Everybody.
Yeah,
That is.
it's a lost art in a lot of modern comics.
Yeah.
This I absolutely, I mean, this is just one of the pages that blew me away when I was reading this book when I was a kid, because you just look at all the tiny detail he uses to fill in all the negative space.
That spread is amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. And I love the way that Todd draws Ghost Rider. I wish that they had some of the best pages from this issue in this book, because there's that awesome scene where Ghost Rider is holding that dude upside down on the top of a building, sitting on his bike, holding that, and he's wrapped up with the chain. He's just holding that criminal or whatever it is. It's just an awesome scene. I would love to have that in a black and white, but they didn't have it
put that in there.
Nope.
Are they cheating people?
Well, they probably couldn't find the page, right? Didn't they have to hunt down all these pages?
Okay. Somebody in the chat said that this comes from a lot of people's personal collections, so that's why they don't have full issues. If that's true, then that's probably why.
Who lost the goddamn page?
Someone that probably died. Like a lot, they weren't keeping records. You know what I mean? Like people would just buy them, and then that was it. They were gone forever. So I mean, like somewhere out there is probably a storage unit of some old comic collector that died. Yeah, he's just got a shit ton of original Todd McFarlane art that nobody knows about. I can't wait to find something like that at a fucking garage sale. Fuck.
That would be
Can you imagine
insane,
finding
right?
original McFarlane art from back in the day?
Yeah, that would be sale? Yeah, you'd probably be robbing somebody because they wouldn't have any clue unless they did
they'd be dead. They'd be dead, and their kin would be selling it at a yard sale, just getting rid of it.
Yeah,
where does your eye go when you look at this? Like, where does your eye go?
On what page?
Which page?
Left or right?
Either page. I'm just curious to see where your eyes go.
I guess the Hobgoblin being punched in panel 1 on the left, and Hobgoblin and the kid on 2.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I feel like I can read it pretty well. The right one, that's just pretty, in my opinion, self-explanatory. Just the floating. You got the anchor panel, and then you got the floating panel on top of that with the Spider-Man. And the left page, Spider-Man's punching Hobgoblin, and it could possibly push you into the last panel, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I still think naturally, because of where he placed the panel with Ghost Rider's face, it still pulls you back into that direction before.
Yeah, and I think what they're doing is they're trying to help that, because if you see where he says "stand aside, hero," Ghost Rider, plenty of room in that panel for that word balloon, and they break the panel. So I think what they're doing is they're trying to lead your eye through that panel break. Smart move on the letter. This is not one of the better McFarlane pages. Hold on, can you back that up again?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Well, when you compare that to the last page,
this is not one of the better McFarlane pages, and it's because I exactly what was pointed out. Panel 1 leads Butt's head. Hobgoblin is butting his own head with panel 3. But also it's McFarlane's rule of, like you have to have varying sizes of people. You don't want to have one panel where they're this size and another panel where they're in similar size, and you have to have big, small, medium, along that line. And that hobgoblin headbutting the other hobgoblin looks more like that's happening because they are comparable in size, and Spider-Man's still comparable in size there. So as far as the McFarlane page goes, like, this is not one of the better ones. Look at the speed lines in panel 3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's minimal going on there. He's got a good amount in panel 1. Looked like he had something going on in panel 1,
And then
but he ran out of time, and he's just like, I got to get it done. The right-hand page is classic Todd, perfect Todd. We got good storytelling going on. Hobgoblin with the kid, Ghost Rider coming up from behind. Spider-Man, I don't know if he looks shocked, but he's got his spider sense going off. So
Yep. I think we pretty much all agree with that. Who said? Oh, Sayor the Barbarian. If I said that right. So some guy had the famous Batman cover by McFarlane at New York Comic Con. Todd posted a video of it on social media. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. The original art to that famous iconic Batman cover. Yeah, I love that.
that is gorgeous.
Starting to get a little bit of Spawn vibes going on. And I've said this before, like, this was Spawn before Spawn was Spawn. Like, just like the way you're going to see him draw certain people like Hobgoblin, Morbius is drawn in very... There's one part page coming up where Morbius looks like the combination of Malbolgia and Spawn all in one character. You can really see where he was kind of getting his feel for this kind of horror.
I love before your video continues on.
Yeah,
I
pause here.
love that bottom panel of bottom left Spider-Man.
Yep. What's cool is that the ending of this book, the last 2 pages, the actual back of the book and the page is this panel blown up
Really?
to double size. Yeah, I've got it in here, so we'll definitely show it off when we get there.
And
yeah, I love that too.
Top right, this video.
Yeah, sorry. I'll get there. Just give me a second. Well, here's some of that gradient on the face that we keep talking about.
He looks jacked there. I love the
McFarlane
hands,
Spider-Man
too.
was always a little bit more beefy.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot more mass. So this panel here, I love like the foreshortening. This is much more like something you would think would maybe be like a really good Kirby. Again, you think Kirby is also someone that would draw people with a little bit more mass to him. So we get a head, 2 heads in the foreground. We get this sexist butt shot of Spider-Man. Look at his
Spidey
tape.
booty golden on. Yep.
And then you get Ghost Rider off her in the far back, and then you get that cool little wispy, I don't know how you'd call it, almost like a dust speed line that McFarlane does.
Yeah, great depth in there. You've got all the characters. The kid's head is the closest to us, and a lot of good depth there. Yeah, someone in the chat earlier said that Todd McFarlane was the '80s Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I think he definitely learned a lot from looking at Kirby stuff. You can see it throughout his work.
Spidey's got some badunk in that trunk. Yeah, he
More
does.
so than anybody, I think, just because of the positioning, certain things that he does with the body coming across the page and the panels.
Well, I mean, you can just look at a lot of time, like sometimes like on those double page spreads, the Spider-Man looks like you can reach in there with 2 hands and grab him off the page. Like that's the same thing you would get from Kirby. You're
Kirby
like,
thing,
I can just grab this guy and pull him off here, because it looks like they got mass and weight and power. So there's definitely a comparison to be made between Jack and Todd for sure.
I love the different eyes here next to each other. I love that because I love eyes in general. Even though that's like a void of an eye, but it just looks so cool next to the giant Spider-Man eye like that.
Well, I paused it on this specifically because I like what he did here with the Ghost Rider. Instead of using heavy blacks, he just went through with a bunch of line work and put that gradient down that we keep talking about him having. And I do believe that the colors were actually pretty cool on the gradient. And I've said it before, like, it's not that it was light colors that they use, but they use like bluish tones, or they use like warm color tones a lot of times with it, which sometimes didn't make sense, but it looked really cool, which is why I was hoping we could come up with a cool example that I could show everybody instead of trying to explain it. But the black and white looks cool too. Like I just like that. Maybe a little bit of a cheat so you don't have to draw all that detail, but the form is there, and so it just looks good. There we go. That
Oh my god, that's
okay, now we're into
amazing.
now we're into this
love
Wendigo.
I love both of these pages.
I said this before when we did the Todd McFarlane stream earlier this year when John was on, that I was so surprised that they got away with the storyline with these dead kids. Like this was some heavy stuff, and so they let this go, but they decided to clamp down on the Juggernaut getting pierced through the eye.
In his eye,
Yeah, it makes no sense because this rotting kid corpse of just, not all there. Like they let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, this was brutal. I mean, I remember reading this as a kid and just being like really like surprised and shocked. Like it was absolutely brutal.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how he draws the Wendigo.
Yes.
Yeah, that is just look at that.
How much detail was in. Like this looks way better than its color. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just, there's so much more that I'm catching that I didn't see in the actual book itself.
Well, I wonder if they did it too on purpose with the colors to kind of fade some of that stuff out or get stuff lost within the colors because of the subject matter. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much more that you're seeing in the black and white.
I love the hair. I good hair.
I love the different depth he uses here with the woods. You got the bushes and the trees. You got the certain stuff that are all silhouetted in black and the certain stuff that pops out in the white.
They show his Wolverine in here too?
Yeah. They don't have as many pages in this run as some of the other stuff, but they do have some of the Wolverine stuff. In this Spider-Man right here, this pose.
Yeah, that's a good example where like I get like a Kirby feel, and that like I feel like I can reach in there and just pull him out of there. But that first panel sitting right above his thumb bugs me to no end.
Let me back up. Hold on
Why?
a second.
It's too close.
To the thumb?
Right
Yes.
there? Oh, so you think it should be pulled up more?
I see what you're saying.
There's room for it to go up more, and it would just be a little bit more, like you give the
Did
character
you
room to
off-center
breathe.
it?
The panel, would I offset under the panel?
Yeah, would
I
you
don't know.
offset
I don't know. I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, you go that way to,
I almost wonder if he did like a panel break there, if it would have worked better than just right there at the line. Because I see what you're saying. Like even if it was down just a little bit farther and have a little bit of separation, because it almost looks like his thumb is basically touching the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if that secondary line, if it wasn't a thick border, if that secondary line was just completely removed, that would be better.
Yep. Yep. Good point. Yeah, I see Bordeaux saying the page that Rob Liefeld inked is not great, not bad, but not great. There was a couple pages that Liefeld inks in this run, which I think is pretty cool that he gets some guest inkers, and he might have been running behind, who knows, at this time. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, another like depth.
Yeah,
That's very Kirby to me.
Yes.
Yeah, everything about this page I love. Like the top panel going the 2-page spread angle there, just great cityscape. I like the obviously the blacks and whites just really pop. And then when you follow right down the first panel on the bottom, I just love that Spidey pose. Just disappearing into the black there. It's just wicked, and that's what he did. He made Spider-Man wicked looking in a good way in this Spider-Man run, the Objectiveless Spider-Man run. Hail, Mike McMahon. Good to see you, brother. He says he has this on his list at Amazon. Made sure the wife knows. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like you would get this kind of darker approach to Spider-Man, but then the moment he's in the room with like Mary Jane, he's a goofball.
It's
Right. Yeah, the contrast between when he's
Mhm.
Spider-Man and when he's Peter Parker. Yeah, which is probably a good thing. I mean, it's the same thing that some certain artists would draw Clark Kent different than when he was Superman to really kind of push it out. And you do get a sense of Peter's goofballness and
Oh,
the
can
way
you
his
pause this
facial
real quick?
although
yeah,
those eyebrows, I hate those eyebrows on the bottom.
some big ass eyebrows. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I hate that. I just don't think that works in any type of way, shape, or form.
Wait,
It looks
whose
ridiculous.
eyebrows?
Peter's on the bottom.
On the bottom there, on
Oh.
the last panel of that page, that looks
Hmm.
ridiculous.
What were you gonna say, John?
I was going to point out that the I don't know who puts ketchup on their donuts, but that is I believe also the Felix, one of the Felix, hidden Felix in there.
Oh, on the ketchup bottle.
On the label, I believe is a Felix.
Like
Let me
Felix
see.
the
I
Cat?
think I get up here a little closer. I think you're right.
Like Felix the Cat? I can't tell.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, he used to
Yep.
hide Felix the Cat in almost every book.
Oh.
The lore, I mean, well, it's not lore. He said it. He said some fan told him once because he drew Felix, hid Felix. He was a big fan of Felix the Cat, and if Todd keeps drawing him, he's going to buy every book. And Todd's like, okay, as long as I draw a Felix, I at least sell one book. So
Yep.
he kept hiding these Felixes.
Everyone's saying Malin is jealous of the eyebrows.
Those eyebrows are ridiculous. I don't think they're anything to be jealous of. Those are bad. I'm sorry. That's really bad looking. They remind me of that girl that Sharpies on her eyebrows. And
Kayla doesn't like these dudes with all these excessive brows either.
There's too much brow.
Yeah.
That is like beyond like caveman brow or something. That was I just didn't like
Yes.
how it looked. It didn't match the facial structure well. It's one thing if you want to do thick brows, but that was not the way to do it. I'm sorry.
I paused it on this because I thought this was cool. Like this is an actual clipping of a newspaper, and if you read it, it's about a murder scene. I thought it was actually pretty interesting. I'd have to get the book out, but it doesn't really come out here in the video. But I didn't notice that until seeing this version of the book. Like that's an actual scene out of a paper. Like that, pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Savage killer still loose.
All bleed art must extend to solid line.
Hail, Angela. Good to see you. Vancouver Sun is my local paper. Oh, nice. You have to ask him about the story then. Yeah, I tried to focus on it, but I don't think you can really.
It says Daniel be the best. What is that? Best village.
East
author?
Village Drifter.
Mm.
I need my glasses. Yeah.
Oh,
accused of
dismantling
murdering and
a Swiss
dismembering.
dancer.
Swiss dancer served a soup containing human body parts to homeless people in Tompkins Square Park days after the alleged killing. A persecution witness testified yesterday. Milton Florenzi, a homeless man, said he discovered a human finger in one of the cups of soup dished out by a metal bucket. Frizzeray said he sickened and threw the cup of soup on the ground. Why
Why does that ring a bell? Something about a Swiss ballerina.
Well, I gotta imagine it's an actual story. I've never really heard of it, but that was I thought it was very fascinating that he decided to put that in there.
Yeah,
in this book.
Rakowitz. New York, a man charged with killing, dismembering, and boiling his Swiss girlfriend disposed of the body so expertly that police were investigating whether he carried out similar slayings. Hold on.
Origin of
Rakowitz,
murders.
Rakowitz, a kitchen helper who claimed to be the Antichrist and preached the overthrow of the government, was arrested September 18th. Charged with killing Burl, a student at the prestigious Martha Graham School of Contemporary Dance. When she asked him to leave her apartment, he allegedly beat and stabbed her to death and dismembered her body in a bathtub, boiled the body in a pot in the kitchen stove before leaving the bones in a 5-gallon bucket at the Port Authority. Investigators said Rakowitz disposed of the body so expertly that police were investigating if his technique came from prior experience.
Wow, that's
What?
crazy.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Henry
be a
Bemis
Netflix show
says
now.
Henry Bemis said it's true. A guy really fed a chopped up body to the homeless people in New York, and
Yeah.
Bootleg Godzilla said that's some dark shit for a Spidey
is.
book. I think that's Todd, right? Like
Yeah.
that's vintage
Mhm.
Todd McFarlane to throw that in a book right there. Like that is super cool. I've never noticed that before.
Senate for the legal strategy used to force the city out of welfare hostels stood endangered yesterday in an unexpected move. The state attorney general stepped into Manhattan Supreme Court yesterday and argued that New York City is not obliged to place homeless families in welfare hostels.
Angela asked what year that it happened, and the Illuminati said it was John. Probably was.
No, I remember hearing about it not too long ago, like maybe 9 months ago, like the actual case, and I was like, I don't remember what the hell I was watching though.
That's crazy. That's cool though. Like that's a cool Easter egg to throw in there.
Oh,
Bordeaux said 91 is when it happened, right around Dahmer getting caught. Yeah, here we go. Again, there's that gradient I keep talking about. Like he used it quite a bit at this point in his career, and I remember it stood out for me as a fan of the comics. I love that.
I'm glad he stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like that?
I think he did it out of necessity. I think he did it to make sure that the colorists were gonna show these values or create these shadows like that. And now they with his control, he can have them do whatever he wants.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, because he definitely did. He did a little bit of it in Spawn, I think, but not too much. Not too much after that. And of course, then he stopped drawing not too long after that.
I really like the middle panel there.
I like how he's like smelling some poop there. He's like, "Yep." Like I got the scent now. Got the scent. He does it a couple times in this issue. He's like, "Yeah." Surprising to have him taste it. Now this page, I love the design work in this page with just the multiple broken up kind of panels in the background. It's not panels, but just the broken up kind of borders in the background there, John. Like that's
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that has to, in my mind, just kind of come to you as you're drawing it. You're just like, hey, this would look cool. Like I can't imagine there's any other reason to do something like that other than it looks cool.
Well, there is a reason if you treat it on the idea that they are panels. If they are panels, then it's like time is being broken up or fragmented. So it doesn't. It could just be design, but yeah, you can break up panels like that and just be like, oh, this is all maybe slowing down.
Oh, okay. I got you in that. I can see that how that's going. Visually, and that's again visually, it's just that's great.
Yeah, visually, it's just good. It's good design. It doesn't hurt anything. It looks cool. Roll with it. This looks great. That first panel is incredible.
Yeah, a great position. Good motion there.
It almost looks like somebody else went in here and started drawing. Like it's almost like I don't know, the hair on Wendigo is a little bit more.
It's a little different,
brushy, I guess, and I don't know. If somebody else told me they laid this out for Todd, I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
He might have, because I know that he was starting to get help right around here. Like I know this is the issue. I think that Liefeld inked a couple pages, or at least this story arc. Scott Williams did a couple inks.
It like that panel one there. That's classic Todd. Someone being pushed into a wall, whatever. So I mean, but it just seems like it's good, and the next panel is good, but it's like normally, I mean, as we've experienced, he's going to do a little bit more breaks somewhere along the line, just something a little bit more different. And here he just really did. Okay, I got two straightforward panels. I'm just going to kind of put them next to each other.
Right.
The hair. I'm not a big fan of the hair on this page.
It's not as flowy as the last one. Bordeaux
No,
said
it
that
kinda looks
the
like he
book
got,
has several
like, a
inkers on this.
kind of reminds me of troll hair for some reason. You know, like the troll dolls a little bit. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Treasure troll.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
kind of gives me that kind of feel.
Yeah, inking could have something to do with it. Whoever wrote that's a good point. But the layout, that's still Todd. The execution is still Todd. The drawing itself.
You Franco says was about to say these two pages look a bit different in brush strokes and Cerrone game. My dyslexia, guys, the names that run together like that, I'm horrible with. So I'm
Cerrone
sorry.
games go.
He says it's
different.
Rob mentioned it. I think he said that Todd was sick at the time, and that could have been. I mean, having
I feel
not
like
feeling
he's-
good and need to hit hammer out a deadline. See, I
Between.
I understand what you're talking about, John, with this kind of style, but there was something about it at the time that I liked. Nowadays, I think it would look weird with that kind of gradient. Just because if you look at the book, I know this has a color gradient. It's not darkened out. So the Spider-Man's got like this maybe a blue hue to it. I think if I remember correctly.
Look, you can do line weight, like you can do values with lines. It like Silvestri, like Silvestri can do this stuff like a king. Todd just kind of does a whole bunch of lines all the way through everything and says this is the shadow, and it's okay. It's not great, but you can still do all the line work for all the value work that you want to do. I mean, Silvestri does it, at least as far as I've seen, all the time. So this right here is it's not very good because there's a weird light source going on, and there's fade in, fade outs. It's kind of halfway drawn. Like, why didn't we get any webbing on the shin area of the boots?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, he's pressed for time. Whereas the kind of zoom in that we get again, him putting the mask on, then we get the close up shot of the spider. Those are two great panels. So, or he might just be sick and falling behind. But I mean, even though there's that kind of phoning it in on Spider-Man, if you look at the wall that he's on, the structure and the speed lines going around him, there's still an energy there, even though that Spider-Man in and of itself is kind of just phoned in.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty good detail there on the windows and everything for sure.
Kind of looks like a lot neater to me for some reason.
It could be the inker, yeah. It may not be Todd inking this at this point, so
that could be.
Yeah.
Bordeaux says sick equals making Image Comics, but I think Todd was retired for an entire year before. Technically, he was retired for an entire year before he came back with Spawn after Spider-Man. This was from.
I was looking at your background. I was like,
yeah, this was from Noah dropped me this in DMs, and this was kind of what I was. So this is a little bit, so this is actually a little bit darker than I remember on this page. But there were some of the Spider-Man stuff that actually took this gradient line work and actually gave it like color tones to it. So, but yeah, thank you, Noah. I appreciate that. There we go. All right, back.
Let's go to the next page. I'm bored of looking at this one. That one's kind of boring.
Calm down. Calm.
This is more exciting to me.
Look at
that booty shot.
You're objectifying men.
This is a Liefeld. The one on the right is definitely Liefeld because the signature's on there. This might both be Liefeld. Yep, there it is. Right there.
91.
Look at that ass.
Oh, of course, Rob would ink the one with the ass shot on it.
That there on the top, definitely.
Yeah.
Because that posed, too.
I mean, he's just inking maybe over a loose layout.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's just falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, for being Todd, like it's clear that either Todd handed Rob incredibly loose pencils.
That's what I was thinking.
And said, finish it in your best me style. And Rob's like, okay, whatever.
Liefeld totally sexualized Peter Parker for a shame. This is Scott Williams, I believe. I think that's what the signature is at the bottom of the page when you look at. Yeah, Scott Williams
Oh yeah,
inked that.
it is. Wonder how Todd felt about that, because Todd inking his own stuff, he got to keep all his pages. I wonder if he had to argue with people to keep his pages.
I love that Wolverine there.
Yeah, some more smelling of poop. I like that.
Poop smelling.
Look at the
No, but
flies around it, really selling.
the face. All the
And
lines.
look at the word balloons here, like again, kind of guiding in and out of the panel. But it's interesting that they actually cut the fly wing over top the word balloon.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They really covered up that panel. I mean, you can still see the ribs and everything, but they really went in heavy on that panel.
Yeah, there's like no room to spare on that. In modern times, we would just take the word balloons and we would restructure what's being said. But here, like I said, I don't know. I don't know if Todd's lettering at this point, because I know he was lettering some of these. But yeah, he cut it so close. It's like, I don't know if that's necessary, dude. Just draw a bigger panel.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best way to go with that.
Bigger panel, like you can keep the details the same size, but you just need more negative space up top, so you don't have to push those word balloons all right on top of all those itty bitty flies and over top of the bones. I mean, you're barely getting a view of what's there.
Yeah, it's almost completely covered up. Honestly, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Noah sent me another example, so this is what I'm talking about. If this rings a bell here, yeah. That he would do that a lot, where it's this gradient shadow, but it's still the same kind of color. It's not really dark, and it just kind of disappears into this. And it's weird if you look at his arm going down with the way it goes on his hand. It just looks odd, but there was something I liked about it as a kid, because it was just, you didn't see it a lot. I think that's why I liked it. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate you.
Yeah, either that bottom panel needs to either be removed completely or enlarged. That's what I think. Those word balloons. Either doesn't need to be there or can be bigger.
I like the group shot though here on the right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like how they're coming out of the panel borders and everything.
Yeah, didn't he do a cover that was almost identical to that? Or
I think there was. Yeah,
Am
I think
I
there was a cover
imagining
that was
that?
very similar to that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, I do believe you're right.
I can find that like instantly because
Do it.
Z.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, this is what I was thinking too when I was thinking of like the Kirby examples. Like again, I mean, it's huge. It's right there. I'm not talking about his ass, yo, but like
Spidey
makes me want to do squats.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't skip leg day with Mcfarlane.
Yeah.
But this was the kind of stuff though, when I was reading Spider-Man back in the day, that just people were doing double page spreads, but like the camera angle on this, like, I mean, just the imagination to put him here where you're just, I mean, like, that to me was just the mind of Todd McFarlane with Spider-Man poses was insane to me, because he had so many different ones. He copied a lot of ones he would do, but there were so many ones like this that were just memorable. Like, I remember this stuff. Like, this stood out as a kid.
Yeah. And the thing to remember too is like definitely it's an incredible shot, but also like, he didn't have a lot of time to plan out incredible shots, like he's doing monthly books, working hard. But he's still able to pull this out, and that's why he's one of the best.
Yeah.
I just sent you the picture of the cover. I think you're
Okay, let me.
you were talking about.
Oh yeah, it's pretty close. I like that it's different enough.
I wish I knew where it was in the box. Well,
But yeah, this is it. Let me bring it up here.
That's it.
So that's pretty close. A little bit different
Yeah,
positioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Wolvie's a size queen getting split in two. What?
Nah, there's no way if Wolverine's gay that he's the bottom.
Oh,
There's no way that he's the bottom. I'm sorry. I refuse
I
to
get what
that.
you're saying now.
There's no way.
A little bit of time saver here with the panels. I still like that though.
I like that. I love that. I love an eye panel.
Again,
That
just very,
I love that.
yeah.
I get to turn my head to the side, like,
Yeah, I did the same thing too. I'm like, huh?
like, huh? I love
Yeah.
that whole perspective there.
Yeah, I mean, it just
Is that a is that a reflection there? What's that?
of what? There's a lot of glue on this page.
No, I'm trying to figure out what is in this window. Is that a reflection? Is
Oh,
that-
this panel?
Oh, where the word
That's
balloon
just-
is coming from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's his
what is
eye.
it?
Oh,
Oh, it's a conversation. I think that when you turn the page, you're going to be brought in there.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
But yeah, that would essentially be some kind of implied.
Oh, it's an
silhouette, I
eye.
guess.
It's an
Oh,
eye. It's
okay.
Oh,
So
the
Kayla's
previous
talking
panel.
about the panel. Yeah.
I'm talking about like the panel itself. I was trying to figure out what it was because I didn't see the top of
Spider-Man's
that.
eye, yeah.
Yeah. I only saw the bottom. I was like, is that supposed to be like his reflection of his leg in the window? I didn't catch the
Yeah,
top of
yeah.
it.
That panel one, again, it's like, man, you could just sit in that, you could walk right into that scene.
Yeah, so good.
Depth, the characters got that Kirby thickness to them. When it goes all hulked out, that fucking bottom panel Wolverine, I remember that thing. I was just like, oh my God, that's so badass when I
The
saw
face.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like
That's almost Spawn, right? I mean, where
little,
you do put the light up top and then just silhouette everything else. You get the eyes. I mean, you take away
hands
Wolverine's,
down.
you take away Wolverine's nose there, and that's Spawn. You get the teeth still popping out.
especially when he would have Spawn without his mask on all the time. So you saw the teeth. He would do that exact same thing, light on the top, and then just the white silhouette of the teeth. Wolfer says, "Hail Sontag Malin, Adrian in the chat." I like
What are you using my middle name for?
that.
Oh,
Watch out now. I love this page on the left. Just going through in the background and deciding to use that all as heavy blacks with the white webs.
Yep.
That and having posed on the panels himself.
Now
That is cool. I always love that kind of stuff.
That right side reminds me of Jack Davis EC work. I shit you not. It really does.
yeah, it could have been pulling from there for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, I dig that a lot. That just looks like it was fun to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fun to draw.
That is horrifying, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely made Morbius look just crazy evil wicked
Yeah.
in this run. Yeah, see, now to me, this stuff is starting to look very, very Spawnish as far as like how he took this kind of feel into Spawn. Just the panel layouts, the face dynamics of the big face shots. Yes, it was an interesting storyline in this. I like how he webs. At one point, he webs all these people up and uses them for like some kind of armor.
Yeah.
They don't have every page in here, but they've got.
Oh,
this
you see right there that.
Yeah.
The second panel, you can see it.
Let me see if I can back this up just a little. Oh, went too far. There we go. Yeah, the second panel there. I don't zoom in on it, but you can see he's got his arms and his legs. Those are human beings. He's just got webbed up. And he's
Now, the interesting thing though was the logic. It always kind of like I was iffy on it even when I was a kid, and the logic was because he was wearing his classic blue and red Spider-Man suit, and he went down into the sewer, followed somebody in the sewer. I think he got his butt whipped, and he's like, I know what it takes to survive. So he goes back home, grabs his black suit, and he looked fucking cool as fuck when he put it on. The whole issue was cool as fuck. Except you think logically, wait, you mean that's going to blend in better in a dark sewer when you have this big giant white spider symbol?
Right, yeah.
You know,
that's a good point. I also like, though, how he touches on Mary Jane's trauma with Venom in this issue as well, because she always hated the black costume because of her interaction with Venom when he originally made his first appearance, and how that actually put a strain on their relationship a little bit when he put the costume back on.
There's Spawn with long hair.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, the next page you're going to get to is just, like I said, you see Spawn's cape right there.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, he must have just been like, I need to do Spawn, because he created Spawn years and years, when he's a kid, or whatever. So, but he must have been here and been like, I gotta get to Spawn.
I think that's basically what happened. Like when he stopped working on Spider-Man, it was because he wanted to write and
there
just
wanted
Well, they gave him a reason, is what they did. They gave him a reason.
That is Spawn. That is Spawn right there. Like.
This is what I was saying. Like, this is like, it's a combination of like Spawn and looks, you could see like a little bit of Melbolgia in there as well with the hair. But yeah, like this is just, again, like I said, this is Spawn before Spawn, this whole run of Spider-Man. I mean, we all know like Todd's love for capes is well known. And I don't think Morbius ever had a cape, did he? Or at least not like this in the comics. I might be wrong.
Yeah, and nobody does capes like, I don't know. Maybe someone's gonna pull out an example. No one in the mainstream, right, was doing capes like Todd would do capes. I mean, like he had to do Spawn just so he could justify the magical links that he was going to end up doing over and over and over again for Spawn.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I know he redesigned Spawn, but Spawn was, I mean, he Spawn that was it. That was the end of it ended on that page, and then there was get a bunch of covers here.
Yep. That one.
I got both of those issues. Norm Brayfogle, when it comes to capes.
Yeah.
I mean, he did some good big Batman capes.
Kelly Jones did some amazing capes.
Now Kelly Jones had some awesome capes, but the stylized capes that McFarlane did, I think, definitely at the time, at least, especially when he got into Spawn, the way he started drawing Spawn's cape was very, very unique.
Now that lizard is very R. Adams-esque.
Yeah. There's a Hydra Man issue. The first time I actually spent money on buying a back issue of Spider-Man. I can't remember how much I spent, but it was a little bit.
Hydra Man?
Well, I went through this. I was trying to just collect everything I could collect of McFarlane's at the time. So I was going back and getting a lot of his early Amazing run. And that one, it was expensive for some reason. It wasn't even my favorite issue, but like I had to grab it.
I wonder if this.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's that. Oh shit, go back there. There's that 328 right there where he was fighting the Hulk.
There you go.
Oh, I've said this before. I've said this before. A lot of people love the Spider-Man 1 cover, which is awesome, but Spider-Man 2, issue 2, is one of my favorite covers that Todd ever did. I don't know why, but there's just something about it that's just fantastic. Horror. It definitely has that horror feel.
Yep.
Death Head, Deathlock. What are you guys talking about in the chat?
Death's Head. Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Oh yeah, that Spider-Man 8. That's just killer. Seeing Spider-Man out in the woods. That was just.
I love.
Yeah.
Ooh, that Marvel Age cover is really good.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of the Marvel Age here in this book. Yeah, he was knocking out some covers, that's for sure. Yeah, I like that one with against Doc Ock there.
Mhm.
That is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And his little inset box drawings.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Drew an interesting Iceman. Maybe he knew he was going to be gay one day.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, you got the original X-Men there.
I love
I like
both
his beast.
covers.
If only we could have kept Todd McFarlane chained to a desk at Marvel for the rest of his life.
But we
Right?
didn't have gotten Spawn. So.
Yeah, I know, but we would have had like incredible Marvel DC. I mean, he'd be the publisher at this point, probably well beyond publisher.
Mm.
Oh,
we never
man.
would have had that terrible reign of Joe Quesada.
Ugh. Yeah.
That Wolverine cover, that still
Yep.
sells to this day.
Oh yeah, that's one of his more famous covers, I'd say. Oh, I thought that was kind of cool. This was drawn on DC paper, I believe.
Huh?
Yeah, DC Comics Inc.
Oh shit!
Your face, Marvel.
Yep. Drew it on like that's awesome.
That's how you negotiate better pay. Oops.
Right.
Sorry, Marvel. I sent that by accident. Someone sent me this paper.
Oh yeah, here we go. So this is the blown up
Oof.
double page that the
Gorgeous.
book ends on. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Good shot of that. 40% said. So, do you think he would have stopped the woke takeover? Just caved like Jim and the others?
I think Jim's always been woke. I think that's where your misperception is at there. Guys, before I don't know, you guys, comic book greats. Jim Lee used to wear a Malcolm X hat until he traded up his Asian wife for a white one.
That's true. He did.
See what I'm saying?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always had that.
No, he's
Malcolm
always
X
been
hat.
woke, guys. Jim Lee's always been woke.
Yeah,
It's funny. Like, not what is it? I'm gonna get you sucker. You got the African nationalist. his white wife comes out with his white kids. He's like, brother.
Yep.
That's shit.
Jim Lee has painted nails, does he?
I
I don't know about that one, but maybe. I've never looked at his nails. But yeah, Todd, I don't know. Todd's his own man. You know, like I've never heard him talk about the woke stuff. You know,
No, Todd is like us. Like I don't know if he's, I would say he's probably conservative. I mean, you hear the guy talk. He's like, if they paid me to pull the switch for death sentences, he said he'd do it all day long. He's like,
Did he
yeah,
really?
it's true.
yeah, he said that. He's like, yeah, like he has like just like most of us, ideas on, how things should be dealt with, in terms of justice. And, it's a harsher point. I'm sure he leans conservative. I don't know if he's Republican. I don't know if he's any of these things. I'm sure he's conservative
He's
to a certain degree. But he's a businessman first, and he's going to keep his mouth shut so he can sell his toys, and so he can sell his comics, and so he can take over DC one day. So
He's
Yeah.
really nice, and so is his wife. His wife was
he's nice to he's nice to people that he's not in business with necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, because
yeah,
he's
he's
a
a true
businessman.
businessman, for sure.
He's running and leading
Mhm.
people, responsible for paychecks to numerous people. So he's a legit business dude. So for everyone that says he's nice, you're gonna find 10 people, especially in the creative field, they're gonna, he's a dick. Yeah, well, he probably made your work better for it. So
It's life.
Daniel Craig saying not true, straight up said that he has a black person writing Spawn script because he hasn't lived their experience. That's woke shit right there. He's also trying to get a movie made though, so who knows what he's trying to do. I just know that
sounds like bullshit though. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Todd wrote Spawn. like now maybe, and it's possible people do change. But the Todd that I've read and known about that wouldn't be something they would be saying. But it might just be business. He might just be talking the lingo of people that he needs to make sure he can close deals with.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
how the world
Or he
works.
might be a complete libtard at this point. God, I mean, who knows? You hang out with enough libtards, you might become a libtard.
That's true. It's like a disease.
Look at that.
Yeah, so this was some of the stuff that I went in on Google and found that wasn't in the book, but this was a double page spread from Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 that I always thought was awesome. Just great detail. Just awesome.
Insane.
Somebody's original art here. I don't know why this wasn't in the book. If somebody's got this original art out there, should have been scanned and sent in. And then, let's see. I had a bunch of other stuff here. Oh, yeah, here's this Wolverine, too. I wish was in there. Great shot of Wolverine. That's a beefy Wolverine right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wendigo's drowning. He's just watching him. Cattails there.
Well, I think he had just collapsed.
Yeah. I think he just, But
I think the page before is Wendigo kind of wandering down a stream, and then he splashes down into it, and then page turn, there's Wolverine.
Yeah. He drew Wolverine's, whatever you want to call these fins on his mask. Yeah, the ear,
Ears
just huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
It works, though.
Yeah, it looks great. This was one from, this was, I wish they had this in the book too, because this was just straight up, just spawn badassness where Hobgoblins turned into like the Demo Goblin or whatever that storyline was. Just, oh, man, that's some gorgeous stuff right there. All the people that were in this like weird fucking like jizz cocoon stuff in that storyline, like
no, he straight up he straight up murders that kid's wife or that kid's mom.
He just completely Again, like I remember the first time I read, I was still pretty young when I was reading these issues, and I was used to like bright Spider-Man, right? And I started getting into this stuff, and there was some things where I was just like, holy shit, like what is going on? Like that was violent, it was dark, it made me feel funny in my pants. Still does.
Patrick Sargent said he tried waiting in line this year at San Diego for a chance to meet Todd.
Oh,
so you tried waiting?
I would say you didn't.
The wizard.
He didn't try very hard, unless he was thrown. I don't know how that works.
Unless they cut the line off, I mean, if you had the chance, you gotta sit there for hours. I would have done that if it was the only opportunity. Yeah, there's a famous first Wizard magazine cover.
Yep.
I just put it in there because I thought it was cool.
That is cool. You know who probably has that? Sean.
The cover or the magazine?
Sean probably has that cover, that magazine cover.
Not the original art. I know that.
Well, not the original art, but I'm saying, doesn't he have like a whole whole crap ton of wizards?
Yeah,
he said.
Yeah, he definitely might. Here's another original page from Spider-Man 3. The zombie Craven here.
And there's his eye on his chest. So again, over the nip.
Yeah, it's still cool they included with the chick though. Like I think it's much more appreciative of his daughter version.
It's almost equal to putting googly eyes on strippers.
Is Lizard feeling Craven up, you think?
Yes, he is. He is. Like
I
don't know where his other hand.
No, that leg down there, the hand down on his shin. Look at that.
Well, I mean, in his tail.
He's got a tail.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Is that what we're getting there?
Todd.
Is this like a hidden hentai piece?
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on in this scene. Did I do this one already? I should have. Yeah, I did. This was a jam between Larson and Mcfarlane.
Huh.
I don't know why they did it or when they did it.
I don't know when. Looks like very early, man, because
I don't
Todd's not using half of his tricks there.
Yeah.
But why you do it is to see who's the better Spider-Man artist. And I feel like Todd is just stomping all over Eric Larson.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. This had to have been early on because I feel like this was probably when Todd took over when he was still in his black costume before he.
Look at Larson. I'm doing your webbing, Todd. Notice me, Todd.
Doesn't have the same energy.
You know what? It's crazy to me that listening to Liefeld talk, in Liefeld really he loves Todd's work on Spider-Man, but his favorite Spider-Man artist is Eric Larson. That just surprises the hell out of me.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, Larson did some good work though.
He did.
Return of the Sinister Six, I think it
Six.
was. Spider-Man got that metal arm and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that was
some cool stuff.
Yeah. What's her name? Mary Jane was looking smoking hot, had pointy nipples and shit going on, if I recall.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Again, I don't know how he got away with some of that stuff in Marvel when they're cracking down on other shit, but
because they realized the money vault just got opened up and it's pouring in by the truckload, and they probably don't want to stop these guys from doing anything unless it's really crossing the fucking line. So
yeah, which apparently,
but then you factor in someone like Todd and his personality, and then they're like, we gotta get this guy. We gotta get this guy.
That's cool.
He's probably gonna vote for Trump one day.
That's probably it. Yeah, this is what I used for the background of the stream, and I was really disappointed this was not in the book. This is one of my favorite spreads of
Same
all
here.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of detail.
there's the great Kirby. Like that's what I see. I'm like, that's a good Kirby shot. And Spider-Man's he's thick, and we got the depth, the webbing all over the place.
Yeah.
And the webbing's another good example. Like, hey, if you can do something quick and easy, do a lot of it.
Right.
Like again, by doing that webbing trick, he creates depth within depth, just more and more planes. It makes everything about him way more interesting.
And there's that Felix.
Wait, where's? Oh, yep, there's
right
Felix,
here.
Yeah.
Yep. Never noticed that one.
I've just always been very impressed with this. The depth, the perspective, the fact. Oops, that's a little too far.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me fucking Rob thinks Eric Larson is better than this guy?
I don't think he said he was better, but he said he was his favorite. Like, I think the favorite stuff of Spider-Man came from Larson, not that he was a better comic book or a better Spider artist than Todd. I don't know. It was weird. Like he had a whole podcast on it one day. And I was like, I don't know.
He must have been mad at Todd that day, I feel like.
He might have, yeah. But yeah, this is absolutely one of my favorites. I wish it was in the book. That's a few disappointing things about this, but overall, I don't think you guys can see it anymore. But overall, this book, if you get a chance to get it, go out and get it for your collection because it's absolutely gorgeous to look at. I think I spent like $150 on it because I went to Barnes and Nobles. I think it's cheaper at it was cheaper through Amazon. I think it was like only $130 through Amazon.
If you pre-order it, it's always cheaper.
Let me see. I don't know if they show me what I paid for it. It says, well, I don't know if this is the price I paid, but if you wanted to buy it right now, new, it's $132. How much is it at Barnes and Noble?
I paid $159 for it, so I paid more.
Yeah, you can get a hardcover for $132 on Amazon right now, unless that's the time or the price I paid for it. I don't know. Yeah,
it's definitely cheaper through Amazon. You just had to wait, like you said, it's being like what through the 8th through the 14th or whatever. And at the time when it came out, it was on the shelf. 2 weeks ago, I was like, you can pay the more now and get it in person, or pay less and wait. And I was just like, I'll pay more. Like I needed this.
Damn, hold up. No, my grand total was $161.
Oh shit. So shipping must have been expensive.
Yeah.
Had to have been.
Hold on. Okay, no, when I bought it, and this was months ago, item subtotal $152.39. Then added tax $9.14. Grand total $161. And it doesn't. Yeah, it's 0 shipping.
Really? That's weird.
Well, that's what it says here. So probably because it's Amazon.
I
Yeah,
gotta
no,
imagine.
So in other words, I paid an arm and a leg. Go to Barnes and Noble.
I was just gonna
today.
say, yeah, if that's the case, yeah, go where I went because
Okay,
apparently mine was
So
cheaper.
it says the list price for it is $150. You can get it for $132. If I went to buy it now, hold on, it would come to $132.
That's some bullshit. Why am I paying more when I ordered it forever?
Did you get it from a private seller off of
I don't know. I just bought it.
Amazon?
Who? Yeah,
No idea.
it's interesting. Sheila Aliens is in the house. Hale, she says, "Hale, whose woman is that?" Interesting question. Talking about Kayla? It's Kayla.
I'm just
Who's what?
Kayla.
She said, "Whose woman is that?"
Hmm.
Just Kayla.
Just Kayla.
Kayla of Death Curse. I bought my McFarlane Spidey as they come out. Oh, you're talking about the actual issues?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, just go out and get it, guys. It's absolutely
Yeah, whatever.
awesome.
I overpaid apparently, guys, but go get it cheaper than
Return
me.
it and go get the other one that's on there. That's all you gotta do. Fuck them.
Well, either or, whether it's 150, whether it's 160, it's well worth it. Let me grab this thing for a second and just show you guys.
Grab what thing? Did he allude to what he was going to go grab?
He's gonna. I don't know. He could be grabbing anything.
I'm grabbing something. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Don't worry about it. That doesn't sound like an appropriate thing, Joe. That's what she said.
That is what she said. No. Oh, look at the size of this.
Oh, yeah.
book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was that big.
That's what she said.
Wait, is that larger than 11 by 17?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
'cause,
how big is that? Is that the size of a poster here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
17.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait,
So it's bigger than, or were the pages as big as the book, or are they normal size in the
The
book?
pages are actually normal size. I don't know why the book is printed the way it is, but if you look at a lot of the pages,
Oh, I'd see it. Yeah, a lot of white space around it.
yeah, you got, yeah.
Okay.
So they're more 11 by 17. Now, when you get to the Spider-Man issues, they do fill out the book a little bit more. I'm not sure why that is. Ugh, if I get too. But yeah, this thing is absolutely huge. I get to this. Ugh. So that
Mm-hmm.
those fill out a little bit more than the Spider-Man pages.
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this thing is just, it's gigantic. It's heavy. It's fucking, but it's worth it. You know, so $150, $160, well worth it for this thing. Like, it's going to stand the test of time, I believe.
Hmm.
It's gonna
Cool.
stand the test of time. I think I wonder if my Walking Dead book is bigger than that though. Although it's a soft cover, it isn't a hard cover at all.
Hmm.
There's like a Walking Dead they did for the number 1 issue, and it's massive.
Too big. Yeah, that thing's even bigger than the Jim Lee Artist Edition. I mean, if you
Yeah.
can see the Jim Lee Artist Editions here. You can see how big that is compared to that. And that's like 11 by 17. That's the Michael Turner Vault Edition. Those are both 11 by 17. So yeah, this thing it's fucking huge. Absolutely huge.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. Guys, I don't know what we're going to be doing next Tuesday. We're working on a show. We'll let you guys know the closer we get. A couple different options we have going on. We do know we want to talk to Phil Diaz and Tommy Patterson coming up about their Brahms story. So we're going to have them on, just kind of go over that. I think that will be a fun show. I don't know if we're going to try to do that next week or in a couple weeks, but that is definitely going to happen. And as you know, I mean, I will find interesting things to look at on this show, because that's all I want to do. All I want to do. And I thought this was a fun show to do. we'll dive into stuff. I know Kayla's got some things we might look at as well. So join
We
us
gotta do
every
the
Tuesday.
Witchblade one. We have to do the Witchblade one because it's so sexy and
Yes.
it's all hot stuff and so many different artists because it's just an art book. And we got to do my
It's
Art
an
Adams
art.
stuff. A couple of them. Or Kelly, something, one of my Kelly Jones things. I don't know what I want to show from Kelly Jones.
Something cool. Well, yeah, we'll definitely be. You tune in though every Tuesday, 10 o'clock. We're gonna be looking at some interesting art, and if we're not, we're gonna be talking with some interesting people as well. Malin, how's everything going on the graveyard shift front? Godlike, any updates you want to give out?
Mega Storm is out right now. Everyone go back to that. We're almost at 60K. So we'd love to hit that and get as close as we can to 100K by our first 30 days. So we got 2 weeks left.
Hell yeah.
So if you guys haven't backed it yet, go in there, back it, back heavy. Let's get there. Push that thing on up. So it's got 40 grand to go still. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Let me hold on while you're talking here. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, 140 pages, drawn by Tommy Patterson, inked by Jimmy Reyes. Basically, the story is about a kind of a Superman type character, leader of a super team. His wife is murdered in front of him, and while he's dealing with that, he has to lead his team on an important mission. There you go.
Yeah, and I think the art in this book is going to look great. Tommy Patterson does fantastic work. If anybody got the supplemental for Graveyard Shift 4, got the Brown book or whatever, it is just, you guys know what you're getting. To me, this is what I think comic books should look like, or at least the comic books that I'm interested in. This gives me all the feel of like the 90s X-Men kind of feel. I mean, just yeah, I love everything I'm seeing from this. Look, that's a great spread right there.
Can you share this clip? This is the trailer. That way you can hear it without the distortion and stuff.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's an excellent trailer.
Who did
right
the
there.
colors on that again?
Various. So Snakebite Cortez, he colored the Red Star.
Okay.
Did about just short of 60 pages, I think. And then I think Anthony George is going to be coloring the rest. So I just wrote various on there. So
the colors are gorgeous that are in there. I really like them. Very
the entire
attractive.
book. It's nice.
Awesome.
So yeah, make sure everybody goes and backs that today. Let's do it. Let's get it up to 100K.
14 days, our first 30 days. We don't go in demand either. I guess that's important to say. So,
that's right.
After our countdown is done, you won't be able to buy this book until we do another campaign next year sometime. So hop on it.
Yeah, definitely jump on that.
Hop on it.
Kayla, you got anything you want to say before we jump out of here?
I will be interviewing Jason Bascom this week.
Oh,
on
nice.
Thursday at 9:30 on the Death Curse channel. And other than that, come visit me at the shop if you're in Salem. Come chat with me. Come buy some back issues. Or just come and shoot the shit. Per usual. And I'll be on here with you on Tuesday. So
Yes, we'll let you know what's going on next Tuesday when that comes. Everybody go check out Reaper Destroyer. We're sitting at $53,615 with 810 backers. I think it's absolutely awesome that we reached that 800 mark. So thank you so much to everyone that has backed. If you guys don't know, this is my comic book that I'm working on right now. I know it hurts John, but I just want to say I have this awesome Dale Keown cover that is painted by the legendary Joe Chiodo, which is going to be a Pit homage cover, which we're going to be showing off the finished cover here probably coming up. I'm trying to get some special guests on. I've been talking about Chance Wolf, who was the guy that made the original logo for Pit, coming on. Obviously, I'd like to get Dale on, see if those guys give us some behind the scenes Pit stories. I'd love to get Joe Chiodo on. He seems a little bit shy coming on camera, so it's a little bit of a work in progress there, but we're going to be showing off the homage cover here, which absolutely looks fantastic. I got to say, it came out so good. Getting the original guys that did the Pit cover to jam together for the first time since Pit on a cover, and it's for Reaper Destroyer. So I think that's pretty cool, or at least it gets me all jacked up because these are my childhood heroes working on a cover for me. Kyle Ritter is still working on this cover. He's been pretty busy. He had some health issues. It's looking really good from the progress I saw. Also have the Shelby Robertson variant cover that everybody absolutely loves. Absolutely awesome cover. Yeah, go check this out, guys. This beautiful book. I gotta say, art. I'm putting my all into this. This is a throwback to the 90s, bombastic, dynamic style of art. A little bit more of a modern day twist to the story. Hold on a second. There we go. I'm not going to play the trailer. The trailer's really long. If you want to, check it out. Trailer's about 1 minute and 30 minutes, or 1 minute and 30 seconds, which everyone kind of yells at me about. So I'll get better at making trailers. But you know what? Like John did, when you get a really cool song and you get art going to it, you don't want to stop. You just keep on going. So that's my bad. But everybody check it out. I appreciate it. Yeah, next Tuesday we'll be back. John's always welcome here when we have an artist he likes that we look at. He might jump on.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
it doesn't do me any good to talk about artists I don't like. You know.
Yeah, which that's true. That's true. Which honestly, that's why I get a lot of requests for me to look at art, and I'm just like, I'm just not really big into that artist. You know, no offense. It's just like I can't look at an artist that I don't like and pretend like I'm excited about the art. No, you know, that's just what it is. After Kangs, Monday nights, whenever. The Kings are done.
Yeah, whenever Kings are done.
Yeah, check that out. It's always a fun show. Maybe you catch me on there every once in a while. And I think, man, is that all the advertisement? Am I good on that? Like, did I cover everybody, Kayla?
Sounds good.
I think so.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We held over 100 people for quite a while now, so that's an awesome accomplishment. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share it on social media. Let everybody know about the show if you like it. And we will talk to you all later. Peace.